Crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Crossovers powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how are you?
What's up, Josh?
Hello. Happy to be here.
What's up, Mr. Desk? Welcome back. As is tradition, Mr. Desk has made a scene for himself, and he's decided to start passing out things like Super Bowl programs. Have you heard that Chris was at the Super Bowl?
I have. I actually, the when he did this last year, I was hosting on my own.
These are cold
in the morning.
They are.
And so it was actually it was a very nervous day for me because it was like my first time hosting alone, and we were wrapping up the show, and he just bursted on in here and started giving me things. Whoa!
I did wonder.
Whoa, yes, please.
I did wonder when he was going to return with all of his gifts, and
today's that day.
Today's that day.
Chris helps engineer and put the Super Bowl on Westwood One.
Yeah, I saw a lot of pictures of Chris wearing a quarter zip.
Oh,
with all
he was hanging with Mike and
zip.
Mike.
Nice.
Look at that.
A day with Mike and Mike.
Mike and Mike.
Wait.
I was feet away from Brady.
Turn his microphone on, Josh.
Oh, there's no mic? You didn't have my mic on?
I didn't. I was
Mike
too enamored
like
with the
Mike
gifts.
Greenberg and Mike Golick,
No,
or Mike
the
Golick
new-
and Mike Golick Jr. Yeah,
It's
okay.
Golick and Golick.
I knew that, but like if you say Mike and Mike, I'm gonna say
And we
think
carried
Greeny
their
and
show.
Golick.
Thank
We did.
you.
Yeah.
We do
You've
carry.
heard my broadcast from the parking lot.
I like
It's
Junior.
our first time we ever did the parking lot show for the Super Bowl.
It looks great.
It was fun.
It looks good. It looks great.
Whoa.
Our set, it needs to be better.
Did you have to drive 2.5 hours to everything?
I
Okay.
stayed in the middle. It was great.
Oh, nice.
And then we like to call them radio emergencies. So we just kind of get in the fast lane and go like 90 everywhere.
Okay.
So we have Super Bowl placards and everybody's like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people really they don't utilize that HOV lane enough.
Let's talk about
I was driving up and down that
Okay.
sucker I was like, I'm good.
I have an opinion.
Oh, great.
San Francisco sucks.
Wow.
Agreed.
Good take.
They have an HOV lane, right?
Nobody
Okay?
uses it.
No, everybody used it this week. But it's called Fast Track Flex. And you only get the HOV discount on
Not
the
a
toll
thing.
road if you have a very specific transponder
Mhm.
that you have accurately set to how many people are in the
Yeah,
car.
don't worry, they'll bill you. They billed me.
Oh, I already saw something hit my credit card.
Yeah, they
That's great.
Okay. This is awesome.
they sent me a thing in the mail like several months later. They were like, "Yeah, you owe us a bunch of money." And I'm like, "All
And
right."
you're like,
It-
not really.
Whatever.
When my that just happened to my buddy when he visited me in Chicago, and we went. If you go like west toward Indiana in Chicago, you get hit on tolls everywhere.
East.
Oh, we going to
Or
the
is it east?
Indiana
yes,
is
sorry,
east
sorry.
of
You go
Chicago.
east. Sorry, my apologies.
You're
You're
gonna have,
really
you're gonna
sad
have to
with-
learn this when
You
the
go.
stadium's in
No,
Indiana.
no more Gare Bears. The Gare Bears are dead.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
Also, let's
well-
give Schaefer and Joey their prizes so they can.
I'm
leave.
working on it.
By the way,
It's a little-
the Gare Bears
the thing.
were actually turning into the Portage Bears. They were going to go to Portage, Indiana, for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, and
A
now
nice suburb of Gare.
My
It's-
porridge is too
well,
hot.
okay. It's west of Gare because Gare sucks, and Gare is
It
a
does.
crime-riddled town. It would be a terrible idea to put anything in Gary, Indiana, let alone the charter franchise of the NFL.
Okay. Speaking of the NFL.
Okay,
A lot of
Perfect
nitpicks
segue.
with
This
us.
is back. We're
you
doing
guys
shots.
This is I wish.
I'm interested.
This is the confetti from the
Me too.
Lombardi Trophy stage
Yeah.
that is shaped like the mini Lombardi Trophy.
Wow.
Did I tell you, Chris Prudon, that you gave me this to the Philadelphia Eagles last year, and I gave it to my Eagles friend, and he cried?
You did
you.
not, but I believe you.
Yeah, I know he cried. He thought he was like, "This is the coolest thing
Sam
I've ever been
Darnold.
given."
Ah, thank
Sam
you, sir.
Darnold's butt touched these confettis.
Those
Nice.
ones
Or
specifically.
his.
That is from left stage.
What is wrong with you?
Whoa.
And then we all got
You
dropped
have a
on the,
problem.
Super Bowl corral.
Oh, a vase.
Oh, yeah, give that vase to Connor.
No, the cup fits on top.
Oh.
And then you would have two cups. And
Look, you're
Double
like
fist
you're
that.
like Chip and Joanna
Please drink.
Gaines. And like showing off all your handy new tools.
I love a vase. Now, why did Matt get the hat?
because I'm cool.
that is Mr. Hat.
Okay.
I'm Mr.
Matt
Hat.
is
He is
Mr.
Matt
Hat.
is Mr. Hat. I always said Josh was Mr. Hat.
Wow. Okay.
We both Josh
Your
is,
studio is now called. Every year we come up with a new name.
Yep.
What the other
Scoreboard
year-
control.
football technology.
Football
was one.
technology. Yep.
This year you guys are enhanced audio.
Okay.
We are.
I like
that
that.
is true. Have you seen our new arm? That is enhanced on.
And then someone in special gets to be the Eagles team or the
There we
Seahawks
go.
Whoa.
Give that to Schaefer for his desk.
Yes,
team. Are you a
for his desk.
lovely team?
He needs a tchotchke for his
He
desk.
likes Sam Darnold though, and he pretends that he just won
Uh-huh,
the Super
uh-huh.
Bowl. It doesn't have.
Oh,
JJ
is that the-
McCarthy.
that's-
This is the gift for Alyssa because she is a big Bad Bunny fan.
Is that
This
the
was the light up
yeah
football
Oh.
shaped
Oh,
Bad Bunny.
yeah
Show that to the camera
yeah?
there. I don't know. You put it
The
there.
conservatives are gonna love that.
there you go. Looks good.
It was a great show. People don't
If I
don't understand it.
if I could, I literally couldn't understand it. I'm sure if I knew
Careful.
what the
You
word.
don't need to understand it.
Wow,
literally,
MAGA
people
Matt.
in the stands were just vibing to the music.
I could actually. Yo entiendo poquito.
I was
I-
gonna
So
say,
you
yeah.
actually did
Aren't you
understand.
yeah,
Cuban?
yeah, I did
Did it
understand.
make your body move?
Oh, I was bachating all over the place, dude. I had a little merengue going, a little
all
salsa
that
going.
matters.
I heard those two
Salsa.
people got married for real.
They
Yeah.
did.
That's
Did
pretty
you hear
cool.
Did you hear the story of like they sent they had 15 extra invitations and they sent one to Bad Bunny
Dude,
as a joke?
I keep hearing good stories about these people who send random invitations to celebrities, and it keeps working out for them.
Well, do you want to have another wedding so you can try it out?
Kind of. I don't know why I didn't the first time. I guess it was COVID.
You just-
Dear
would you-
Bobby, I'm getting married on Thursday and would
Dear-
like you to attend.
Dear
Bye,
George
Schaefer.
Brett. Yo, dude, you could totally get HUD.
It would have been weird.
You could have
for
gotten
me to-
HUD at your wedding.
What, Schaefer? Oh, there's dogs here.
Yeah,
Hello, dogs.
No.
They can go wherever. Yeah, it probably would have been weird of me to ask Bobby Witt Jr. to come to my wedding at the time when I got married because he had not yet debuted in the major leagues yet.
Well, that would've
Hello,
been
strange man.
Yeah.
Please come.
Yeah,
Would
and he
that-
was like 18 years old.
fun. Oh,
probably.
okay, there it is.
Probably-
Him being
He's probably 19 or 20.
if he was like 20 like 22 or 23,
Yeah.
you know, and he was in AAA, that'd be cool.
Alyssa says I was going to do that for Connor and Josh's birthday. I remember that. And then her bit was, and she didn't end up doing it, but she was going to invite Salvador Perez, but the wrong Salvador Perez, just a guy named Salvador Perez, which I
That-
thought was
good
funny.
bit.
That'd be a
And the
great
person would
bit.
show up and say, "I'm Salvador Perez." I'd say, "No, you're not."
That'd be a great bit for Wacky Guess Wednesday. If like Josh got people like got famous people or got people that weren't famous that had the same name as very famous.
This is
people.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
It's just a guy named Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, is there anything else?
Yeah. Any takeaways from
Oh,
the?
I mean, this is very good, by
from
the
the
way.
week?
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Any takeaways from the week? I hate San Francisco.
Okay.
So
San
there was
Francisco proper.
there
What
was a
about
report.
Santa Clara?
Fine.
There was a report. That I
Go to wine
saw-
country.
No.
It's
But
nice
I
up there.
did go.
It's
up
mustard
to
seed season.
Not Tuscaloosa. Where
How do
did
you
we
know?
go?
Because I keep getting emails from wine country since I went there a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And
Is it
they're
like,
like-
Vegas where
and
they keep trying to comp you?
Well, they're not trying to comp me nothing. You don't get comp jack up there.
Tiburon. Tiburon, California.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
Love it.
Okay. Food is phenomenal.
Wonderful.
It's if you saw my social media, it is the restaurant that had the crab cake, and then
Oh,
I
yeah.
It
panned
did look good.
to the sunset on the water, and you could see downtown San Francisco. It was awesome. That
the Tiburon that I enjoy is in Gretna, so that's good
Yeah,
to know
no,
that
that's
there are more Tiburons out there.
there are.
The more Tiburons, the better.
Oh, look at
in
that.
my
Yeah.
opinion.
Right
Amazing
across the
food, though.
Golden Gate Bridge.
Amazing.
Is that-
I had
that-
Did you go to Alcatraz?
I tried.
Yeah.
It was sold out.
They did
and then
a.
I tried to get on the NBC,
on the
boat
NBC
to
boat, yeah.
Alcatraz, and we couldn't find the man with the tickets to the NBC
Ah!
boat, so
Jack Collinsworth, Tony Dungy,
Yeah.
and whoever else were out there doing a show from Alcatraz. I was like, this is crazy.
Typically, people try and stay out of Alcatraz.
Well, not anymore.
when you
It's
have
more
money
of a
to go rent Alcatraz,
museum now.
Great.
Yeah.
I know Alcatraz
Welcome to the Rock.
because I played Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's the map on Warzone.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I don't play that, so I didn't know.
it's pretty
Mhm.
dope.
Same.
So then when you go to Alcatraz, you're going to know exactly where to go.
Exactly. Did you go to Fisherman's Wharf? Did you go to any wharf?
We avoided we avoided
I love that you said that. I've told people that. I go, wharf is one of the best subtitles of a restaurant.
Yeah.
If
Wharf.
it's a wharf, I'm in. I'm always there's
and
a
then you're
wharf.
going to order chicken fingers?
No, there's a wharf in Brainerd, Minnesota, where we go fishing, and it's like the best place to eat.
Yeah,
it is
course.
so good. They got sunfish tacos there,
Oh, that actually does sound
dude.
Hello.
Have you ever had sunfish before?
No.
It's a tiny little like lake fish. It is so good.
Hmm.
It's like like a bluegill.
Yeah.
Like it's like bluegill adjacent.
When
But
I
it's a
find
sunny.
myself
Only at Wharf.
in that wharf, I will have the sunfish.
I know. Well, if a sunfish is one of those items where if I see sunfish on your menu, I will order it.
Okay. No, the Marriott party was amazing. Marriott party. That was
Nice.
fun.
Nice.
That one, our parking lot in downtown San Francisco. So we had a reserved parking garage, right? It was right across the street, the party. So I'm like,
Excellent.
prime parking. Don't have to worry about that. Let's
Excellent.
go. So we were treated very well.
Good job.
So there was somebody on Twitter who was like, it is very clear from a lot of media members that they wish that the Super Bowl was hosted in New Orleans every season after being in San Francisco. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Well, you hate San Francisco.
It's a great
I
setup.
don't
It's
want
all
it
right
to
there.
be there every season.
The
but
great
yes,
news
New
is-
Orleans was awesome.
The great news, it's horribly going to be in LA next year.
Yeah, I know.
That
That's
will be a
gonna suck.
disaster. Yeah.
I don't
In
know if it will,
Inglewood.
because here's the thing. With San Francisco, it wasn't the San Francisco Super Bowl. It was the Bay Area
Mhm.
Super Bowl. So they had to spread the love.
Yeah, throughout the
Kind of
Bay.
Incorrectly spread, but they'd spread.
And
In LA,
They had
it's
side
all
pieces in the Bay.
pretty much where
here's
they-
my
yeah.
take on the Super Bowl. I love the rotating thing, but if you're going to put it in one city, it's got to be Vegas. The Super Bowl could be in Vegas every year, and that'd be fine. They have the hotel space. It's all walkable.
I think you have to do.
I'm good with the rotation.
I want the rotation because we're having
We're
now.
gonna get it in Kansas City coming up.
We're having
will.
less and less. If you've been following like these events that go in different areas and stuff like that, they're doing less and less like across the country, and they're kind of narrowing down to the same 5 cities. Like it's like Atlanta, New Orleans, some city in California. Like those are the 3 that are like getting every Super Bowl and every WrestleMania. Vegas is becoming part of that too. Like we're getting less East Coast stuff and less
there's no
Midwest.
No,
stuff.
they'll go back to Miami and
Miami's a good one.
Yeah.
Minnesota,
Atlanta's a
See,
Super
what-
Bowl in 2 years.
I want another Minnesota Super Bowl.
Ugh, you do?
I do.
That
'Cause
was-
I want in the Midwest.
I mean,
They did a pretty good job. And
yeah,
it was fun
treated
having
really
radio.
well.
That
Yeah.
was Radio Row. There was actual publicly accessible.
It was in the Mall of
It was in
America.
the mall.
Yeah.
I think that just because I'm a Midwest honk and we've just had so many West Coast.
But
and
do you
South
want a
things.
cold Super Bowl?
It's in a dome.
Cold per bowl. Yeah,
Cold
but
per bowl.
outside is bad.
No, Minnesota Super Bowl was great. Parking garages were attached. to
That's
the
true.
gate
They
to
have all the
game. Like,
walkways,
it was
yeah.
no,
That stadium, man.
no
like
step foot outside.
like we talk about like domes and new stadiums. They're all boring and they all look the same. They did that one right. Like that one is a unique dome.
Maybe
Like,
the Gare Bears will get a Super Bowl when they build their Gare Bear Stadium.
if they do it in Arlington, maybe.
Yeah, and they're definitely getting a Super Bowl if
If
they
they're-
build a stadium.
They're working on
yeah.
it. It's a 5-year plan. They've already announced the next 4, I think.
Yeah, correct.
And, like, you already
it's
have the 5th and 6th. Like in
it's
waiting.
LA, Atlanta are the next 2, I believe.
Exactly. Like
And then
Back
I
to
don't
Atlanta.
know that they've announced
What's
anything
wrong with
outside of
Atlanta?
that.
It's
we put
It's been a
everything in
few
Atlanta. We
years
put the
since we've been
SEC
to Atlanta.
championship and the national champion.
Why are
SEC
you comparing the
championship,
Super Bowl
the national
to-
championships? In
I have a question
Atlanta?
for you, Chris. Did you at all suffer from any ligament damage from the electrical substation?
Yes.
Mm.
My knee felt really bad.
Mm.
It could be that I walked like 17 miles.
Or it could be
No.
the
Or it
electrical
could be the
substation.
electrical-
Yeah, I'll bet
That
it's
thing is
not.
huge.
So it's in so it's it's
Messing
Inglewood
people
next
up.
year, Atlanta in
George Kittle, Achilles.
for
gone.
62, 63, so 2029. We do not know yet.
That's what I thought.
Rumored
Reported
to be Vegas.
rumored to be
Hell
Allegiant
yeah, Vegas.
Maybe. I liked Vegas. It was fun. Everything is right there. Their traffic sucks.
Not that I care about this anyway, because I won't go or be
Why?
around it. I mean, I would love to go if invited. Maybe I could come as your assistant.
Sure.
I'll plug some stuff in for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. You could just tell people what to do. I'll plug some
I'll wrap
stuff in.
some
I
cable.
did
carry
do
some-
that the other night. We,
cases.
we had a couple guys that were just sitting there, and I'm like, hey, wrap this cord.
Yeah, I'll plug it in for you.
I very
And then it took
well
the guy 10 minutes.
I very well might be able to go to WrestleMania this year, and that's in Vegas. And so I'm
In Allegiant.
yeah,
Do it.
I'm considering it.
Allegiant is awesome.
Well, that would be my
I have
first time.
snuck
ever
my
in
way
Vegas.
into many things at Allegiant Stadium.
And I would go out. I'd go
Oh.
by myself too. I would just go by myself and do it.
I thought that was already done. I thought you were doing that for sure.
I was trying to getting people and trying to get schedules together, and then like them. I still have friends right now that like, oh yeah, we want to go to Vegas, but they want to be cheap about it. And I'm like, you can't.
Ah,
I'm
no.
like I'm not doing cheap.
Good job.
I'm not doing this cheaply.
I'm proud of you.
Take
Yeah.
Daddy's advice.
like I'm gonna do if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right, and I don't want to be
You
on a
can do it
budget. Or,
inexpensively.
yeah, But they don't want to stay at the right hotel, and they don't want to go to, and they don't want to stay at the right they don't want to go to the right shows or anything like that. And it's just like, and
good job. Do your own thing.
I know. I think I got to figure things out, but I think I'm just going to go. And like WrestleMania would be perfect for it because you just go for the event. I'm just there for that.
So you're going to fly in WrestleMania and fly out?
Yeah. No, I
no.
I would fly out on a Friday and then probably fly back Sunday night or Monday morning.
Okay.
That's good. That'll be good for you.
So be like 2 nights there.
You keep talking about your trip to Vegas. So I was hoping that it didn't get banged.
It kind of did get banged.
That's very sad.
Vegas.
But we are doing a golf trip in Wisconsin. That is going to happen.
Okay.
That'll be fun in the summer.
That's different than Vegas.
But it's all Geneva, Wisconsin.
I'd rather go.
Are you going to be here doing a radio show ever?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't take days off.
Matt unlimited PTO.
But all these conversations about multiple trips.
I literally just revealed the only 6 days off I'm going to be taking all year.
Okay.
During the College World Series, you will be working
non-stop.
48 hours in a single day.
That's right, Matt.
That's not true. Not anymore.
Oh, contraire.
Oh, no. What do you mean?
Mr. Desk has another assignment for you.
You got an evil smile. I'm good. Mr. Desk and I are good when it comes to the College World Series. He tells me to jump, and I say, how high?
You know that question we asked yesterday? You'll find out at the Omaha Baseball Village this summer.
What question did we ask yesterday?
Who would talk more doing a show together?
Yeah, and we both answered that it's Matt. Yeah.
Guess who I ran into at the Pro Bowl?
Al Michaels.
Kevin Kugler.
The team from Oakley.
Our friends from
Oakley.
Oakley.
Yes, our very nice friends.
And no gifts from them.
I was trying to get myself a pair of Metas, but it did not happen yet.
Wow,
that's all right. They'll be back.
They're the only people that stick it to you.
What do you mean?
Just seems like they're,
No, the people at Oakley are great.
They're incredible.
You just have to have patience.
I don't.
I know. It shows.
It will pay off in the long run, I think. It has before. Several times, actually. So
as you plant your seed, I plant my seed in you, as one said on
And
The
on
Office.
that note, I'm out.
Bye, Mr.
I was
Desk.
quoting The Office. Just quoting.
I'm
just quoting, man.
I'm excited about my butt confetti.
Why do you call it butt confetti?
That's
notes of ass.
Woody.
Yeah.
Championship.
Oh, there's a little citrus in this?
Championship ass.
I can't stand IPA drinkers. I'm sorry. That's my hot take.
Wait, so what?
Out of nowhere.
So what if you just like drink IPAs?
Okay, if you just drink IPAs, that's fine. If you just drink
what's the
them,
difference between that and being an IPA drinker?
Wow, the hops on this are great, but man, it's that orange, that citrusy, fruity note. It really brings it together.
You don't like when people say
the,
what they're tasting?
The barley. No, because it's the same thing over and over again. All they tell me is that all that IPAs do is they taste like construction piss with a little bit of acidity.
When he keeps talking, it makes me want to take away his hat and give it to you, Happer.
I agree. That's what it makes me think too.
I think it's time for a commercial break.
No, it's just time for you to go. Actually, it's your crossover. You can do whatever you want. Is it over?
We got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. What can we get in for two? What can we?
Do you have anything on your mind?
Well, I was wondering if you also hate sommeliers.
No, I think they're cool.
It's the same.
It's
concept.
Specifically just IPA drinkers, and it's just because I like sommeliers because they can tell me like different flavors and different things.
That's what the IPA drinkers.
No, the IPA drinkers are some of the same thing over and over again. It tastes like bark with a little bit of orange. Oh,
no,
there's a hint of
it doesn't
banana.
always have to be orange.
Just think they're.
I will give you I could give you 5 IPAs and they'll all taste drastically different.
I'm not saying I dislike IPAs. I'm saying there are some people.
No, but
who
you're
drink
making the point that they
IPAs.
all taste the same.
I'm saying that the people who taste them all say the same thing.
Oh yeah. You don't have to be all crazy about
exactly.
it. But it is possible for them to taste different.
I don't know. It's just to me, it's just beer. Just drink the beer. It tastes different. Nice.
So don't talk about.
We just take it a little too seriously.
Okay.
Some people take it a little too seriously.
So do you feel the same way about like food people?
I feel this. I'm going to be honest with you. I catch myself doing it with whiskey, and I'm like, you're being over dramatic about this.
Okay.
Like it's
so you are also doing this.
I catch myself.
Interesting.
Because I'm like, ooh, this has like but you can taste the corn. I'm like, stop it, Matt. You're not an expert.
Okay.
This is just say if it's good or say if it's bad.
Why don't you just open
again.
it up? Why don't you just open it up so that everybody is allowed to say whatever?
Yeah.
they
Maybe I
please?
should. Maybe
Yeah.
I should stop being
And that
so
you
judgmental.
don't have to stop yourself when you taste a whiskey and you want to dissect it a little bit more.
I love whiskey.
Yeah, you could just imagine if you tasted a whiskey and you wanted to say out loud what you tasted inside of it and
No.
didn't have to stop yourself because you thought you were being pretentious by your own rules.
You just broke it down beautifully.
You have driven yourself into a dead end.
I have. I am.
Just open up the road, baby. Open up the road.
Stop caring so much.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's an option for you.
I don't know.
Or
just
care more.
I think I just had a bad interactions with people who love IPAs. Maybe the people who told me they love IPAs, I didn't like them as a human, and I held them against all IPA drinkers.
That's possible, I
I
suppose.
think that's definitely what happened.
Seems likely.
Trace it back to the IPAs.
Trace it back to Mr. Evil IPA.
I had some IPAs. I like
Can we
some-
get Beefman on for a Wacky Guess Wednesday one of these days?
I don't know.
A whole interview with Beef Man.
With a whole bit.
It'd be tough on a person's voice, probably.
Whose voice? Who is Beefman?
Who is Beef Man?
Many are asking this question.
Do you like Josh Peterson?
Yeah, I do. I love him.
Okay.
He likes IPAs and likes to talk
I
about
make
them.
fun of him to his face about it.
Okay.
I'm like, ooh, let me think.
And yet you're sitting there at the bar trying the most popular whiskey and talking about, I love this one because it's so
Nope. So
smoky.
caramel.
Yeah.
Yes,
Interesting.
I know. That's what I said.
Interesting.
That's why I agreed with you.
Interesting.
I'm a hypocrite, and I have to stop being that way.
Okay. All right.
This is oftentimes
At
when
least
you
you've
and I just,
identified it.
oftentimes when you and I just host, you just become my therapist. You know,
Well, I just want to get to the bottom of it.
of bottom of me
Yeah.
or the ass.
I just want to see if it all tracks, you know?
ass confetti.
Yeah. Smell it up.
What does it have a hint of? Hint of corn. Obviously, had Chipotle.
Tears.
Well, that would be New England. What do they do with that blue New England confetti?
They just mix it in with the green Seattle confetti.
Do they?
Probably. Yeah.
Do you think there's just a bunch of red Super Bowl confetti that they just threw away
Yes,
somewhere?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn.
They go all out for that kind of stuff.
These actually are. That's actually pretty cool.
Lombardi Trophy.
Can't see it.
That will stay on my desk for a long period of time.
I'll
Maybe
probably.
forever.
This will probably be on my desk.
Running out of room on that desk.
I know. I got too many tchotchkes at this point.
This will be worn regularly.
There you go.
This is sick.
There you go. Good thing you didn't get it taken away from you because of your takes.
Do you? What takes?
That's what Chris said.
Yeah.
Said he was going to take it away from you for your takes.
John Claude Van. I don't know what that is. He goes. They donated to the poor kids in Africa. The confetti.
Maybe.
I mean, the Bills.
I don't know what
Super
they do
Bowl-
with it,
The
but
Bills Super Bowl dynasty lives forever in third world countries.
T-shirts, things
Big
of
time.
that nature.
Alrighty, that was the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Got a good show for you ahead. Middays with Matt on 1620 Zone coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt live on 1620 The Zone on this Tuesday. Big game Tuesday. Massive game at 1 o'clock at the Olympics. USA women's hockey takes on Canada.
Definitely the game everyone thought you were talking about
Well,
when you said big game today.
Big game. Also, I said big games. All right. I said big games, plural. There's multiple big games. That's the first one. And we were having a conversation, and I'm a little offended here that Connor and you were calling my passion for USA women's hockey a bit. It's
probably a poor choice of words on my part.
It's a good bit. I mean, it's funny to people, but
bit implies insincerity.
But yes,
you are very sincere about this. We're just laughing at you about it.
I'm genuinely invested and genuinely want them to win. I mean, it's imperative that the USA wins at least one gold medal in hockey. So this is not the gold medal game, obviously, but this is a big game in determining, kind of the standings as we head into the medal rounds eventually. The other big game, Purdue versus Nebraska tonight, 6 o'clock. Yes, I am trying to cut that habit, and I'm saying the word correctly. Purdue versus Nebraska.
Imagine insulting a man who's trying to grow as a human being.
By the way, I want to
rude.
Now that you brought up grow, you said the word grow. Can I just say this? I need to read this intro, this opener from Steve Sipple's article this morning.
Oh yeah, okay.
Things I know and things I think I know. If you keep chopping away, you can get good insight from recent Nebraska transfer portal acquisition Tree Babalade. Chef's kiss.
I see what he did there.
Chef's kiss.
We're going to have a lot of fun with him.
Do you think that Sip, as soon as Tree committed, was like, oh, got to be careful here, brother, with the amount of chopping wood analogies he's going to make. Anyway, though, Purdue versus Nebraska, 6 p.m. tonight. Big game for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is really the first time that Nebraska has played a high-quality team at full strength, dating all the way back to, like, Michigan State. I mean, this is... When they played Michigan, everyone knows they weren't at full strength. When they played Illinois, you still had, Braden Frager still getting back into the groove of playing full-speed basketball after spraining his ankle, and then Rink was still affected by the sickness. That it was just a virus or a stomach bug? Like, I don't think we ever got, like, a full breakdown or
a diagnosis.
Yeah, I don't think we got a diagnosis of what it actually was. It sounded horrific and terrifying. And like the war, I mean,
I don't think it was like mono or COVID or anything like that.
Still, I mean, the fact that he had to get on a plane that sick is
really
crazy.
Knocked him on his tuchus.
It did. So he's back at full strength. Frager, we're at this point safe to assume he's back at full strength and his ankle is healthy. So this is going to be the first time that Nebraska basketball at full strength with the team that we hope they enter into the NCAA tournament with, barring any more injuries, plays a very high-level basketball team in Purdue, who, for a lot of people's money entering the season, was a national championship favorite. I mean, they were one of the two teams that we went into the year saying, hey, this is Purdue's year. I mean, that's what a lot, I mean, the sentiment heading into the season was this is Painter's year. This is the Boilermakers. This is where they break through because they have Lawyer, they have Kaufman-Wren, they have Braden Smith. They've been playing together forever. They're all seniors. They got an old team. They played in a lot of big games. This is the moment for Purdue to finally break through. And it looked like it was the case until the last couple of weeks. They've kind of fallen flat. And, they lost 3 games in a row. And then you follow that up by nearly losing to Oregon. Is tonight the night where Purdue snaps out of this little funk that they've been in, where they finally become the squad that we know that they can be, or
I think it's time to go Old Yeller on the old dog.
Yeah, or do they continue to slip? Do they continue to fall, down the mountain in terms of the power rankings and just their viability to be not only national championship contenders, but contenders for the Big Ten regular season and tournament championship? So tonight is a big turning point for Purdue, and it's an incredible opportunity for Nebraska to reestablish themselves as a team that is a legitimate contender in the eyes of people in terms of making the Final Four. I think before we entered the Michigan-Illinois week, there are a lot of people who watch the sport who are like, wow, this team could potentially be a Final Four team. They lose those 2 games, and you still look at Nebraska as, hey, second weekend, Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8, but they kind of fell a little bit out of that elite picture. They win tonight. They're back in that elite picture in terms of the grand scheme of things in national college basketball, which would be massive for the Huskers. So we'll talk about that game, break all that down, what you need to know, what we're looking for, some key factors in that one. We'll also talk about college sports and in particularly college basketball being saved by finally I don't want to call competent. I think that would be inferring that other judges are incompetent, but finally a logical judge who looked at a situation and said, yeah, no, this doesn't make a lot of sense, and this would really affect things for the worse in college sports, and we're not going to allow this to happen. And so Charles Bediako no longer going to be playing for Alabama this season in NCAA men's basketball, which is a big development for the sport, also a big development for Alabama. I mean, they're a team that still very much is a contender within the SEC, in terms of winning the SEC, along with being a contender to make a pretty deep run in the NCAA tournament. Part of the reason Bediako came in was because Alabama was majorly banged up in their front court. Bediako actually, was a big player. I mean, he averaged 10 points and 4 rebounds and, over a block a game. He was being effective for the Crimson Tide. Now he's gone. So it's one of those things where we'll break it down. And this was a big deal. I mean, this was a really, really big deal because anyone who was following this and just had kind of looked into this would tell you why this is ridiculous. This guy should not be allowed to be playing NCAA basketball. But we've just seen this track record of things not make sense and rulings just go the other way and things not panning out in the way that you thought it would for the worse for college sports in general over the last couple of years. This was an instance that you hope happens more often where they got it right. So we'll break that down and all that stuff. And then on top of that, we are the Crab Creek Boys, Mr. Josh Hodson. You and I.
Oh, is that what they're calling us now?
You and I went on a journey together yesterday. Whoa. Okay. We were, who would have thought that our first accomplishment as a duo, as a midday show, our first ever slap on the ass from people being like, hey, attaboy, good job, would involve reading.
Definitely had long odds.
I mean, that would have been.
It was the dog of the day.
I was about to say, would have been one hell of a dog of the day. That might have gotten us even on dog of the day if we bet it. Josh and I, for the good of this radio station and for the good of this show, both opened up our laptops, logged into Josh Peterson's Kindle, and read the Crab Creek Chronicles, and then fed quotes and stories to the afternoon show. And then we also posted, Josh did a great job making graphics and putting it on 1620 The Zone. I went ahead and I took screenshots and put them on Twitter. I think I did the best PR possible for Bill Moos, if I'm being honest with you.
He should be thanking us.
He should be thanking us. I mean, we brought this book so much attention to so many different levels. I have Iowa people commenting. I have Mountain West people commenting. I have Minnesota people commenting. I have a bunch of different Big Ten podcasts that are tweeting. There was one podcast that quote tweeted and was like, we're going to talk about this tomorrow on the cast. Wait for it. I'm like, here we go. So
are you going to go on with them?
No, I'm not. I don't. Can you imagine Matt McMaster, the Bill Moos expert?
Man, whatever.
I'm telling you,
as long as they say from Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone, I don't care what you talk about.
I'll tell you right now. If you told me if I was that I became a moose expert, I would assume it'd be about the one with 4 legs and some antlers, not the man who was the athletic director for Nebraska for multiple years. So we'll talk about our moose droppings and our moose findings and the trail of ridiculousness that we read. It was, I'm going to be real with you, from a writing perspective. From a writing perspective, it's awful.
Well,
from a grammatical and word, like putting words together and the way that things were phrased and commas and quotes and the editing. I mean, Jim Pillen's name was spelled wrong in the entire book, and he was a very key piece in all of it.
I have, I believe, to be the reason for that.
Okay.
There was some sleuthing done by some friends of the show.
Oh,
we'll keep them nameless.
And okay.
So this person told me that I did some digging on the publisher, quote unquote, of this book, and it's basically they advertise, you give us the chunks of the book you have, we'll bridge the gaps.
Oh no. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he didn't really write a book as much as he wrote parts of the book.
He
and
put some paragraphs in, and I'm going to guess an AI type service.
That's not how you do that.
Well, when you're self-publishing a book, yes.
You can just write. Why are people so lazy? Just write.
It's 700 pages. He wrote a lot.
Clearly not enough. Clearly too much bridging was needed. Anyway, my point being, from a book standpoint and a writing standpoint and a vernacular grammatical standpoint, it was awful. From a content standpoint, that thing was a page turner.
It was worth
well
over $13.
It was worth every cent. It was worth every single cent. Josh Hodson, I read 55 pages of this book.
Wow, a new personal best.
Yes, seriously. Seriously. I haven't read that many pages since Of Mice and Men, all right? It's been a very long time. I think the last time I read 55 pages in one sitting, I was reading about Nick Carraway, all right?
Poor Lenny.
So we'll talk about all of it. There's a part of me, and we're going to talk about it right away, too. We'll talk about it at 11 o'clock. I hate telling people when we're going to talk about things, but I mean, this will be a benchmark for us. I mean,
you're setting an appointment with the listeners.
Listen, man, like there was part of me that kind of felt bad for Bill. That was reading this thing and was like, I feel for him. And then there was a part of me that was like, nobody in this book is coming out a winner. Like nobody's going over here. A lot. Oh, they all just crashed in speed skating. My goodness. But a lot of looking up at the lights, if you know what I'm saying here. You know, a lot of looking up at the lights for a lot of people in this book. And so we will talk about it. We'll give our opinions on it. I think that it's very important to say, yeah, it's going to be funny and we're going to make jokes and we're going to laugh. But there is an actual serious point to be taken from Bill Moos's book. There's actually some major takeaways and confirmation of things that we kind of already knew and assumed and alluded to and heard things of. There was a lot in that book that confirmed some suspicions as to why certain things have happened. And I'm not necessarily referring as much to the Frost stuff as I am to the just entire managerial process.
Don't get us wrong. That's why we bought the book. We were hoping for some Frost stuff.
I'm going to be real. We bought the book in hope of a ha-ha, Frost is a dumbass. All right? That's what we bought the book looking for.
That's right.
And we came out of the book being like, wow, there are some systematic issues here. And there were issues. And granted, it's very important to mention, all this happened 6 years ago, you know, anywhere from 6 to 8 years ago. And a lot of the people, almost basically all the people that are involved in this book are no longer attached directly to the University of Nebraska. The chancellor isn't. Both presidents mentioned aren't. The regent that is mentioned a lot wasn't specifically, isn't specifically in the athletic department or in the department. But it's one of those things where it's like, whoa, it's like, damn, okay. So we will talk all about that at 11 o'clock. We got a loaded show for you. Bediako, Nebraska basketball, Bill Moos, Omaha getting an NBA team? What? Whoa. Hey now. Maybe not. More so maybe not. But Josh and I will have a fun conversation about that. Also, too, I was thinking about Billy Beane last night in that scene with Jonah Hill and Brad Pitt, where Jonah Hill is going through the lists of players, and all of a sudden he goes, and he's like, this is a great player. This is a great player. And he does this, but his defect is this. He should be worth $3.5 million. We can get him for $285,000. I thought that same exact thought about Darren Peterson. Billy, this is Darren Peterson. He is one of the greatest prospects since Kobe Bryant. His length, athleticism, speed, shooting ability is something that we have not seen at the college level in about 25 years. His defect is that he doesn't like playing basketball. His defect is he doesn't like the game.
Tough part.
Dude, he is perfect. Like, I'm not stressing to you. There are the combination of speed and length and skill, and he's got it all. He just does not like the sport. And then a little oopsie happened at the game with a guy who I assume is one of the announcers or somebody, important, that is, connected very well to the Kansas Athletic Department, who got caught on a text, which I feel bad for the guy. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Darren Peterson. We'll talk about Kansas. The game of the night is Purdue, Nebraska, which is awesome. And it's going to get a lot of national attention. We got a sneaky good slate, though, tonight. Sneaky good slate of college basketball tonight and games that you should have your eyes on. So we got a lot to talk about, got a lot to hit on. At 11:30, Michael Severe is going to join us. We'll talk about the Super Bowl with him. We'll talk about bets with him. We'll talk about draft with him. We'll talk about a lot with him. And then Tim Verghese at 12:30. Kind of giving I'm excited about our conversation with Tim today just because there hasn't been a whole lot going on, right? And so when that happens, it kind of opens yourself to get a little more creative and start doing some digging and looking for some stuff when the information just isn't coming at you. And Tim is awesome at that. And so I think today's Tim Verghese interview at 12:30 is going to be really, really good because we're going to get some insights that maybe haven't been on the top of mind of people. But Tim is such a pro where he's just on it. He just knows what he's doing. So we'll talk to Tim Verghese 12:30. We'll talk about Michael Severe at 11:30. At 11:45. We're going to go ahead and have the odd news as the good Lord intended it. Great show for us today. Loaded with great guests, loaded with great content, loaded with great topics. We're loaded right now in the YouTube chat. Jimmy's in there. Alex is in there. Charles is in there. Ken is in there. Sis in there. We got the boys. John's in there. We got the boys today in the chat. We have the boys and girls on Twitter. Also, don't forget to email us at the Equitable Bank inbox, Matt at 1620 The Zone. Josh O at 1620 The Zone, Equitable Bank. They take banking personally. They pick up on the first ring. Old man Doug, shout out. We'll go to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline right now. Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. On the line, we've had Pat. Pat, you've been waiting for 12 minutes. Thank you so much, my man. You want to talk a little Nebrasketball. What do you think about tonight's game?
Hey, I'm looking forward to the game. The real reason for my call, I want to give this show some props because 3 or 4 years ago, you were the only one talking about Nebraska basketball when we weren't winning a single conference game. You kept the dialogue alive and the hope alive, and I appreciate that. And it's just a magical year. We need to the road. That's all I got.
Thank you. I think Pat had to be referring to maybe he listened to me in Lincoln.
Hope James Cameron recovers young Pat. Clearly.
Young Pat?
Clearly.
Young Pat?
Aboard the Titanic right now underwater.
Or I thought you were going to say in in the bookcases of Interstellar.
Also would have accepted that. Yes.
What do you think of Interstellar? Is that you think it's a great movie? Is that your type
I
of
thought
movie?
it was a great movie when it came out, and at the time it came out, I did not have a child. Now I have a child, and I think it's an even better movie.
Wow, that's an interesting. I thought you were going to go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to say when I thought it was great when it came out, and then it became a little bit with how
being the case for people, but
that does happen where things get too popular for people, and they're no longer cool for liking. They're no longer cool for liking that thing when it was originally cool to like, and then they're kind of just anti it. I think that's a great take, Josh.
Thank you.
I'm excited to rewatch movies when I'm a father one day, potentially.
I'm excited for that for you as well.
I really think that
for different reasons.
I think the Amazing Spider-Man is going to hit completely different when I got a kid around. In time is going to hit like a bag of bricks when I got a little mat terrorizing whatever city I might be in.
It will. Then you'll realize how many fathers in movies and stories die. Wait a minute.
We got a great show ahead of you today. Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Talk a little CBB coming up next here on a McMidday, a great McMidday on 1620.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Josh and I are completely captivated right now by speed skating. which, by the way, I made this claim off air. I would have been a great speed skater. I wouldn't have been Olympic level, obviously, but I would have been pretty damn good.
I don't know what is this event.
I think it's relay speed skating.
Okay.
So you have obviously 2 men and 2 women on both teams. I think they go twice around, and then they all do that twice. And then instead of a baton, you got to get yourself situated in front of the current skater, and then they push you ahead. And so it's all about timing and getting a good push and positioning yourself before it's your turn to skate by speeding up in the middle. It's a very complicated event.
Short track speed skating mixed relay.
Okay. I'll tell you this right now. I like distance speed skating better. I think I like it longer when it's on the longer track and they're jockeying for position. Now, those blades are.
That's good camera work.
So basically, the USA had the lead here, and they were killing it. And then she kind of toe picked herself on the crossover, and then slipped. I mean, she got the lead, toe pick, slipped, and then the USA lost. I mean, look at this. Look at this right now. 2 inside. Gotta have better outside edges. Gotta have better outside edges.
This guy knows ice.
If you put too much weight on the outside of your left foot, then you're gonna, you kind of expose yourself. And you
I've been saying that for years.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
J-Man goes push that tush. I'm telling you, that was just terrible execution. Then she took out the Russian speed skater as well.
That's okay.
Or the Korean speed skater as well.
I'm okay with that.
All right, Josh.
What?
I think this German speed skater, he's got like the last or Belgium. The Belgian speed skater, he's got like the last airbender thing. I'll tell you this Canadian dude right here with the beard. He was a good speed skater.
He was fast.
He was
graceful.
Very fast.
Yeah.
Very fast.
Real anchor.
You can tell that guy. I mean, he eats well too.
Oh.
Eats
a lot of poutine?
A lot. But not too much poutine. Everything in moderation.
Nothing too heavy.
Do you know what's also in moderation? Darren Peterson, apparently. That guy loves moderation.
Guy loves not
he doesn't
coming to work.
He doesn't want to indulge on basketball. He doesn't want to indulge on the sport that he is so good at and that he's heavily compensated for. You don't want to fill up your stomach too much with the ball. I cannot understate how good he is at basketball. Okay, I cannot understate how good that man is. I mean, he's got everything. He has everything. He's got a shot. He's got the athleticism. He's got the speed. He's got the body. He's got the length. The dude has it all, except for the want to play the game. And so yesterday, Arizona spokesperson said that he came down with an illness. So it was rumors like, okay, is he not going to play? So then it was reported he's not going to play. And then something very interesting happened on Twitter. So a guy who had a headset on, who was sitting at the scores table, was texting somebody. And somebody recorded. So what I can tell you what happened here. This guy was texting and he thought he was in private. He had his phone out and he, had a long paragraph, and somebody behind him saw him texting this long paragraph, and they were able to make out that it was about Darren Peterson. And so in this day and age, like everybody does, that person who saw the text message from behind the guy who was sending it, who clearly had a headset on, was affiliated in some way with the Kansas basketball team. Somebody took a phone and took a video of this guy texting his friends about, or somebody about, Darren Peterson. And basically the text said that Peterson came to Bill Self. He said, I'm sick. I'm not feeling too well. The text then said, Self told Peterson, I'm not going to play you if you half-ass this stuff tonight. If you play half-ass because you're a little sick, I'm not going to play you. And Peterson said, Self said to Peterson, wait, I got this all mixed up. Self said to Peterson, if you play half-assed, I'm not going to play you at all. And Peterson then said to Self, all right, I'm not playing. So the kid was a little sick. it seemed like he could potentially go. He had flu-like symptoms is what it was officially labeled as. Self said, if you're not going to play full heart, then don't play at all. He said, all right, I won't play at all.
And the SID, what everybody calls it something different at every university, essentially Kansas's sports information director came out last night and said, this is a statistician for ESPN. He does not work for KU. He's not affiliated with he is speculating in this text message.
Okay. But clearly, just something weird went on. Self said, we thought he'd go. I thought adrenaline would kick in and he would go. He was out there at shoot around, but you could tell he didn't feel great. So Darren Peterson didn't play yesterday. It did not matter. Didn't matter. Kansas is a good basketball team. You know, they had to shorten the bench. They played 6 guys yesterday. They're very, very big. They're very athletic. I was watching the game yesterday. Mitch Sherman brought this up on the Connor Happer show as well, but it was a thought that I had while I was watching the game. So kudos to me and Mitch. Like, how would Nebraska fare up against both Arizona and Kansas, because they are just both bigger, faster, and stronger than a lot of the players that Nebraska plays. I actually think Nebraska would play well against both these teams just because Nebraska's relentless. I mean, they're just so consistent and they're just so locked in on the defensive end. And also, too, Nebraska's just so good at shooting the ball that I think that despite the fact that they do have some shortcomings when it comes to athleticism, that they're just consistency and just ability to play really good basketball, great basketball at that, possession in, possession out, would allow them to compete with teams. Would it be very tough for Nebraska? Yeah. But I'm not saying that Nebraska would kick Arizona's ass or kick Kansas's ass. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, I don't doubt Nebraska's ability to compete with those teams. But those teams are very athletic. Kansas is super athletic, 8th win in a row. There was a moment, Josh Otson in that game where Arizona was up 10-4, and you're kind of sitting there watching the game thinking, all right, like this is Arizona's opportunity with the ball, open this thing up, right? Go ahead, take a big lead right away, kind of stiff arm Kansas the rest of the game. Fog Allen was rocking, man. That crowd would not allow that team to be out of that game. And there was a shot, it made it, I think, 22-22 in the first half, and the crowd went wild. And I sent out the tweet, I go, Kansas is now playing like they believe they can win even without Darren. Like that's kind of what happened. Like as the game went a little bit longer, Kansas got more and more in belief that, hey, it doesn't matter that we don't have our best player out here. We can win this game. We can defeat this team. And they did. They handed Arizona their first loss of the season. Hell of a start for Arizona to begin. But this is, man, we talked about it yesterday with Arizona. This is the start of a really, really tough slate ahead of them. I mean, they got to play Iowa State. They got to play Houston. They got to play Tech. Like, they got to play a lot of really good teams. They got to play this Kansas team again down the stretch. So Arizona, they're going to earn that 1 seed. If Arizona, ends up being a 1, and I doubt that they'll fall any lower than a 2, they're really going to earn it with this slate that they have coming up, because they're really backloaded in the Big 12 and Big 12 in general. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight till the very end to see who ends up winning the Big 12 regular season. And I think the Big 12 conference tournament, man, that's going to be a war. I mean, there are, like we mentioned, the Big 12 compared to the SEC and the Big 10, they don't have as many teams in terms of quantity in the top 50 in the net, but the quality of the teams in the Big 12 are so high. So high this year. So I really do think that if you could pick 2 conferences who would end up winning the national championship, like the champion will come out of one of these 2 conferences, I think you'd be sitting pretty picking the Big 12 and the Big 10. I mean, I firmly believe that is where our champion will be crowned, out of one of those 2 conferences. Let's go ahead. So obviously tonight, 6:00, Nebraska plays Purdue. That is the game of the night. Kevin Kugler and Bill Rafferty. By the way, NBA, Nebraska Broadcasting Hall of Famer Kevin Kugler.
That's right.
Will
Put
be
some
on the
respect
call.
on it.
Absolutely incredible accomplishment for Kevin Kugler. So congratulations, Kevin. They will be on the call tonight. Should be a great one. I mean, 2 of the best in the game. On top of that, pretty sneaky good slate for college basketball tonight. It's not a stacked slate where you're like, oh my God, Duke is playing North Carolina, and Kentucky's playing Louisville, and Florida's playing Alabama. It's not one of those, but it's a pretty damn good one. Wisconsin, Illinois, that's going to be a shootout. 2 of those teams, both relentless when it comes to hitting shots beyond the arc. That one's going to be a shootout. Also, you're going to get a show between two of the best pure scorers in the Big Ten and Keaton Wagler along with John Blackwell. Then you got Vandy versus Auburn. Get back game for both these teams. Auburn, losers of 2 in a row after kind of finding their stride about a week ago. Vandy, I mean, they dropped a terrible game to Oklahoma. They're still ranked in the college basketball standings, but they've been falling big time. They got all the way up to, I believe, 10. Now they're down to 19. So big one between those two. And then trap game tonight for my Cyclones. The reason why I call them my Cyclones is I got a meaty future on them to win the Big 12 regular season. Hey, plus 700. Come on.
Nice value.
It's great value. They're they're a game and a half back. This is a big one tonight, though, because they play TCU very up and down from TCU. I mean, they had a terrible beginning of January in the Big 12 conference, but at the same time, they only lost to Michigan by 3, and they beat Florida earlier in the year. So this is a TCU team. I don't know. This would be an interesting one. They can play with the top of the teams, but they sometimes play down to competition. This is at TCU as well. I think Iowa State at number 5 unranked TCU. What would that spread be? It's 6.5. I mean, it's projected to be a pretty close game. So that'll be a good one tonight. Wisconsin, Illinois, Vandy, Auburn, Iowa State at TCU, along with Purdue, Nebraska. So if you're a college basketball fan, it's not the greatest slate of all time, but it should be a fun one with some interesting results. Speaking about fun things with interesting results, Josh and I read the Crab Creek Chronicles yesterday. Probably too much of the Crab Creek Chronicles, if we're being honest.
No.
A lot.
Man worked hard on that book.
Did he? I think.
Good question, I guess.
I think he thought hard about the book. Just don't think he
been in the works for years.
I don't think the writing was really invested in enough. But we'll speak plenty about investments and who's making those decisions. All that coming up next here, and a great show of Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
So the Olympics are picking up here. This Winter Olympics, man, they're pretty good. Like, we're getting storylines, we're getting competition. Corey and Corey, the mixed doubles curling duo that has taken over the internet. They're America's favorite Corys right now. Used to be Corey in the House, Disney TV star.
You're too young to remember Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
No.
There were a couple of Coreys that did a bunch of movies together in the 80s. One has since passed.
I'm trying to think of more. Corey is that like a big famous person name? Why can't I think of more Coreys?
I don't think it is. Let's see. Famous Coreys.
Famous Coreys. And I'll tell you how wrong I don't think it's a very big famous person named Corey.
No, really not.
All right, give it to me. Who are our top 3 Coreys?
Wow.
Oh no. Is it that bad?
Top 3 Coreys? Woof.
Okay.
There's a Corey Taylor in the group Slipknot.
All right.
That comes up quite a bit.
All right.
Corey Stoll is an actor.
Don't know.
One of those, might remember the face. The guy who played Dr. Dre in Straight Outta Compton, Corey Hawkins.
Oh, I know. Okay. He's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's not bad.
He's in other things.
He's in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it?
And then,
really?
Then there's a drop off.
Yeah. Alex is being an idiot in the YouTube chat. He goes, famous Corys? No, Corys. Corey Oaks.
You guys are crazy, man.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like every 4 years we all fall in love with curling and how fun it is. And then we don't care about it ever again. But then it skyrockets in terms of like birthday parties and like, team outings. I'll tell you this right now. If you are in corporate America, all right, I'm going to give you now a 48% chance that you guys are going to have a corporate curling outing.
Team building outing.
Yes, we're all going to go curling and we're all going to have a good time and get drunk.
Every time I go to the Baxter and see the hockey game, there are always
people curling.
Yeah.
Is Omaha a curling town?
We held the trials one year.
The curling trials?
Yeah.
Oh, and the swim trials?
And the team that won the gold medal. One of those guys is connected to Omaha somehow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're investing in the Olympics today. They're curling right now. Sweden looks like an absolute wagon currently, and they're blocking. Okay, they've set up a great wall of curling rocks at this point. So I think that the U.S. might end up losing this one.
It's the first end.
We have a great slate. We got this curling. Women's hockey 115. My goodness, I'm so pumped. They got to play better. They play like,
even if you're like, hockey, I don't know, women's hockey,
it's
I don't
USA
know.
Canada.
Tune in to listen to Matt freak out over every little thing that happens.
But they're playing sloppy hockey.
But in the way that we made Connor do a big red overreaction during a Royals playoff game just to watch him like squirm and melt, and it was funny.
Oh, wow.
That's the same thing.
Corey just laid the hammer. Nice. That was a big one.
Way
that was
go,
a big
Corey.
rock. Killing it. All right, let's talk about the Crab Creek Chronicles.
Let's.
So, reading this, and I'll be completely frank, I haven't read every page and the whole Nebraska chapter, but I've read a lot. I have a lot of stories that I want to pick on and I want to talk about. Let's just start here. Nobody looks good out of this book, not even the writer of the book. Okay. Jim Pillen,
very self-deprecating,
who was the regent, who held a lot of power, who influenced a lot of things.
Holds even more power now.
Who's the governor? He did not come out looking very good. Ronnie Green, I don't think people knew Ronnie Green had as much power, honestly, and influence.
Well, Ronnie Green carried himself like a Southern gentleman who didn't mess with all the rigmarole.
he was pulling a lot of strings. Didn't come out looking great. Ted Carter kind of came away unscathed. Like it wasn't. Admiral kind of got in and got out. I mean, and then Bill Moos. Let's talk about Bill. Here's my takeaway with Bill. There were moments where I felt bad. I'm like, okay, clearly this guy, the job wasn't what he thought it was. And, there were things that happened that were unfair. Like the Dana Altman story, where he wanted to pursue Dana Altman to be the next Nebraska basketball head coach. He should not have been told you can't go after him. He's not a good fit for Nebraska. That's ridiculous. How the athletic director reportedly is not told, hey, we're going to extend the head football coach for 2 years. How he is not in any of those discussions. That's kind of ridiculous.
Maybe a courtesy email.
Yeah. And on top of that too, I mean, it was made and people knew it at the time, but it was made very clear that he didn't really have a choice with hiring Scott Frost. Like if Scott was willing to take the job, he had to hire. And so you kind of sit there and you feel bad for the guy a little bit. You're kind of like, damn, like, I think he had all these grand ideas and how he wanted to shape the athletic department and decisions he wanted to make. And he clearly was being told by people I don't think he first assumed would have as much power that he couldn't do the things he wanted. There's also the part of me that read this book and was like, he comes off desperate for approval. Like he comes off desperate for people to like him and for people to look more positively toward his time at Nebraska. Here was the funny one. He said in the book, at the time, people thought the Fred Hoiberg Scott Frost 1-2 hire was the best ever. The best ever. He was like, a lot of people said it was the best ever. I was like, all right, come on. Cool your horses. He then, so in the very famous meeting he had with Jerry Jones that put him in Dallas, that then put him in contact with the Big 12 commissioner at the time to potentially talk about Nebraska moving to the Big 12. He said, while talking to Jerry Jones, he was very complimentary of my career. Like, I don't know, that's just a kind of a weird thing to mention, that he's like, yeah, even Jerry thought I did a great job in my career, right? Like, and the whole like Big 12, Big 10 deal, I honestly think he was doing that and he wrote that and admitted it because he would think that people were like, yeah, man, Bill really got down with he really knew, he understood our fan base. He understood our identity, right? He understood that a lot of people who are fans of Nebraska know that the Big 10 isn't right for us and that, we should go back to the Big 12. I think that was his thought process. And completely ignored the fact that from a financial perspective, an academic perspective, and like a power perspective, moving out of the Big 10 would be a massive mistake for Nebraska. Like from a optics perspective, yeah, there are people who would probably look at that and be like, wow, yeah, Bill Moos, man, like he understands the temperature of Nebraska fans and he knows that we were better off in the Big 12. But from like all other efficiency and statistical and just everything that really matters now, it would be a terrible decision. And he legitimately, pursued it and admitted to pursuing it. And, I tweeted out all of that stuff. And a lot of people looked at that stuff and were like, are you kidding me? Seriously? We had a guy who literally was trying to get us out of the most powerful conference in college sports right now. This guy in the changing times of college athletics didn't want to be in the most stable, one of the two most stable conferences. He didn't want to be a part of that anymore. That's crazy. And he got clowned for that. So I just think with this, like, it kind of was one of those things where there were some things I took with a grain of salt. There were some things that I was interested in, but there were two stories that really stood out to me. Okay. Number one is the Dana Altman story, where he goes in, he gets tipped off that Dana might be interested in coming back to Nebraska, that even though he's killing it at Oregon, that he wants to be closer to his parents, he wants to be back home, and that it might be a legitimate opportunity for him to bring Dana Altman to Nebraska. I'm telling you right now, if he got that done, that would have been a big deal. And people would have been like, oh my God, like, how did he pull this off? Why would Dana ever leave Oregon? How did Bill convince him to take it? Would have been a very, very big deal. And the fact that he had laid some groundwork, had put out some feelers, had like used his connections to gain Dana's interest, like that's what you're supposed to do as an AD. And the fact that he went through all of that legwork to put Nebraska in a position to make a slam dunk hire, and then was told by the chancellor and told by a regent, no, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. That's not your job to tell him no. Okay? That's not it. He's the athletic director. Let him do his job. Let him work. This is what you pay him to do. He put himself in a really, really good position to go and make a great hire. Why tell him no? Why deny him?
Because he used to work at Creighton.
I mean, and then just a crappy decision too to say they'll never accept him here. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You wouldn't accept him. Yes, he would be accepted with open arms. He's a good coach, and Nebraska. That's what Nebraska basketball needs. So that stood out to me. The meddling from people whose jobs isn't that. And then the second story that stood out to me was this. There were during 2020, they had to make big budget cuts. Okay, and that included terminating people who they thought their job wasn't necessary, they weren't necessary, and furloughing people, and then also pig penning people, which is like you just put them in crappy jobs and then eventually they'll leave. And, you know, Bill was going to kind of just go through the process, just analyze everything, go through stuff. And the man that he put in charge of overseeing the football team, Garrett Classy, and this is Bill's story, came into Bill's office and said, hey, you know, you talked about snakes in the grass. You know, you talked about people not allowing you to do your job properly. And, you know, you talked about just toxic people not allowing you to execute the things you want to execute. We got a really good opportunity here to, through the guidance of the athletic department, just go ahead and cut all those people. And the way that he tells the story is really interesting, right? He says, like, Garrett, he told Garrett, like, hey, close the door, come in my office, grab a pen and paper, and let's do it. Here's what stood out to me, though, right? They were in that office for an hour. Okay? That office for an hour. They sat down and they wrote the names of the people down that they wanted to get rid of, right? Because, so here's the quote from Garrett Classy. He goes, Bill, I don't need to tell you that you are in the midst of an intense and difficult time. And though there are going to be many hardships, I don't think we should let this crisis go to waste. Bill goes, okay, what are you getting at? Garrett responded, you shared with me early on that there are people in this department who are undermining you and your vision for that program. You also told me that all hires and fires had to be approved by the chancellor. The bold plan that you have initiated should be postured as being sensitive and difficult, which is most certainly it is. But underneath it all lies an opportunity to eliminate the snakes from the garden. You get where I'm going? Bill responded, I sure as hell do. I responded with a smile. Tell them out front that we're going to be an hour or so, then grab a legal pad and let's get to work. When the list was finished, it numbered 17 terminations and 52 furloughs. Included in the termination category were several high-up employees whose water cooler complaints and private conversations were determined between the two of us as detrimental to the direction we wanted the program to go. Also on the list were those considered to be dead weight due to a lack of production. Examples being so-called fundraisers who were more focused on lowering their golf handicaps than raising their total gifts and thinking nothing of submitting exorbitant receipts for reimbursements.
Okay.
52 furloughs, 17 terminations. Garrett Classy and the athletic director were able to write down 69 people.
Nice.
69 humans in the departments that they determined were detrimental to what they were trying to do and what they were trying to accomplish. Almost 70 people they determined were in that department that they didn't want there anymore. Do you know how many? That's a lot of people, Josh. It's a lot of people. And do we have the drop here? Because this is
bottom left.
This is exactly what I thought when I was reading this book, and I was reading Moos talking about not being able to pursue Dana Altman and him getting rid of 69 people he thought was detrimental to the program. I went back to a conversation I had with Matt Millen. He was broadcasting the Buffalo game, the Nebraska-Buffalo game. This was back in 2021. And Millen and I sat down and we were talking, and he was a great guy. I remember Matt telling me, and I was with another person too where I called. I was like, do you remember this? He was like, yeah. Matt Millen told me that when Scott Frost took the job, he talked to Scott, and Scott told him, it'll take me 3 years. It'll take me 3 years to get this around. And Millen told him, it'll take you 5. Scott goes, really? It's going to take me 5 years? I can do this in 3 years. He goes, no. It's going to take you 5 because there are people within the athletic department and there are people around that program that they are the reason why you're at where you're at right now. You're going to find out that there are some snakes there. And Millen told me that eventually Scott called him back. Or Scott called Matt back and said, hey, remember that conversation we had about 3 years and 5 years? Yeah, you were right. And it's one of those things where there are people in and around the athletic department who have heard the stories, who use their intuition to know that there were too many cooks in the kitchen and too many people with their hands on the wheel and too many people trying to use their influence. We heard the stories, right? And we heard the whispers and whatnot, but we never really got it, from a firsthand source that was there. I mean, this is why this is a big deal, because there's people have known and speculated and assumed that there were people meddling in business they shouldn't have been meddling in. But this is the first time, or this is the first I've really seen of somebody being like, no, that stuff was going on. And I hearken back to this line from a comedian that I've listened to.
No one had ever seen anything like that. No one had ever seen somebody come from inside of that house, outside, and tell all the commoners, we are doing everything that you think we are doing inside of that house. They just went right back in the house and started playing the game again.
That's what it is. Right there, we've speculated and we've thought and we've heard some things, right? That there are some people who are kind of meddling in business and using their own influence and their own biases and having their own directions that are influencing the athletic department the wrong way. We've heard about things, right? There are a lot of people who've heard it. But this is that. This is Bill Moos coming out of the house saying, yeah, all that dysfunction you think is going on in there, all the meddling of business that's going on in there, it's going on in there. It was going on in there. And that's a big deal. Granted,
a lot of those people have gone on to different jobs.
There you go.
Retirement.
There you go. So that is the important
They're
part.
definitely no longer meddling in their new places.
At least
like the state capitol or Ohio State or.
So they're the important thing is that Bill Moos is gone. Okay. The important thing is Ronnie Green is gone. The important thing is that Bounds is gone and Carter's gone. Now Pillen is the governor. So that's a whole other combo. And won't get into that. But a lot. So we can't take this right and say, "Whoa, what's still going on in there?" Well, they're all left, right? The athletic department, could be in a very good spot right now. They very well couldn't be under as much influence as they are. Hell, if we're being honest, from a results perspective, you eliminate football, the athletic department's killing it. Seriously, we all talk about football and football has the most guys on it and everything like that, but. Basketball is awesome. Softball is awesome. Volleyball is killing it as always. Track has had some really good seasons. Women's basketball is super competitive in the Big Ten. Wrestling had their greatest season ever last year. There are a lot of really good things going on in the athletic department. And I don't think collectively all of that occurs if you don't have more continuity and you don't have, and I like Troy Damon. I think Troy Tannen has proven, to be a stern leader and to be a strong leader and, do make some tough decisions, make some really, really tough decisions about seating and volleyball. And, he's taking his time with the stadium project. And look, I think, you could point to maybe a mistake or two, but the athletic department and the results that is happening on the field currently right now, and I'm just looking at a field perspective, court and whatever you want to call it, very strong right now. So I'm not taking any of this book and being like, oh, the athletic department right now is screwed. No, hell no, absolutely not. But I think that this is the time where we were like, yeah, I kind of heard some things. And I kind of thought some things were going on, and they really were. And so it was just very interesting to read that and hear that. And there were moments where I read the book and I'm like, I kind of feel bad for this guy. Ronnie Green shouldn't be making an extension on Scott Frost without telling him. Jim Pillen shouldn't tell the athletic director, hey, you can't pursue a really great candidate for this job, right? At the same time, there's other times where I'm like, man, you're just very desperate for people to say that you're good, and that hurt him. And also too, like the drama of like where the recruits would go, what house they would go to. Would they go to Bounds' house or would they go to Ronnie's house? Would they be hosted there? The drama between families and all that stuff in the athletic department. I mean, some of that stuff was high school crap. And so you read that and you're like, yeah, makes sense as to why there was so much turmoil going on. So one guy who knows some things about what's going on there and actually had a pretty famous clip when some things went down, will be joining the show. Michael Severe will be on Middays with Matt coming up next here on 1620 Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays, Matt, on 1620 The Zone. It's 11:35 here on a Tuesday. We bring in Michael Severe, Executive Director of the Jet Award Foundation. We're getting to Jet season. We're right around the corner, aren't we? You're muted. 1 second.
I don't control it. I don't. Is it working now?
Yeah, we're working.
Yeah,
now.
we're good. Sorry, everyone. That's my
I love the look on Josh's face when you said at the end that I was coming on next, and he realized he had not yet sent the link. I saw the look. Like that. Like, he gave me little eyebrows. He gave me little eyebrows, and I said, "Well, it's coming soon." Now I know. Yeah. What's going on?
How are you?
Okay.
We're chilling, man. We're having a good show.
I'm ordering helmets. I'm trying to save some money, and so I'm like searching eBay for full-size helmets so they can sign the helmets as part of our giveaways, and so that's what I've been doing.
How's that going? Is that easy? Is there not a lot of helmets out there? Or...
Well, one of them didn't say it was a mini helmet. It didn't say it anywhere on there, and they sent it to me, and I've been trying to get them to refund that one.
Yeah,
because obviously it wasn't what I needed. It was, but any color's fine because you can pull the stickers off.
Yeah, so, sure. Good point.
So we got a bunch of those. I got about 6 so far.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, one of my better honors was when you sat down and you said, "What would you eat at a lunch gala? Would you rather have this or that?" And I said, I would rather have that." And you go, "Okay, we're going to go with the other option."
we went. The reason why we went with chicken is
I agree. You're totally right.
The older people get, the more they don't eat beef, and I understand that. We got a lot of people that are older, so.
And I'm honestly too, like, I'm at the point where if a burger, like I would say 5 years ago, you put a burger in front of me, I'm going to eat it. I would say now, you put a burger in front of me, there are days where I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do that. Like, I don't want to put that in my body. So
No, not for the beef producers out there. We're not saying it's bad for you.
No,
all we're saying is that the older you get, it's harder for your body to deal with it. So
yes, we like our beef producers. Speaking about beef producers, Bill Moos produced a lot of beef yesterday in his book Crab Creek Chronicles. We here at 1620 Zone, Josh O and I found it on the Kindle. You and just dug through everything, and I think it was funny. We were all sitting here being like, I don't think anybody knows that it's available to read right now. And it kind of came a little bit later in the day when everybody started getting the screenshots and putting them on Twitter and talking about things. I kind of looked at it, Michael, as like there were some stories I took with a grain of salt, and there were some stories where I'm like, okay, that kind of matches up to some of the whispers that you heard of turmoil within the athletic department. I just, from what you were able to see, just some of your takeaways from what you read in the Crab Creek Chronicles.
I was working over at the paper doing TBL at the time when everything was going on with Scott Frost, and there's a lot of dates that are thrown out there of when he had to hire Scott Frost, and I was like, it was still pretty early in the season. They had a game they lost because of weather. I think they were only 3-0 or 4-0. People started calling for it. I know, and I knew this, and I said this to Josh on the radio a few months ago, that Scott Frost was not his first choice. That wasn't who he wanted to hire. It wasn't. There were a couple of different people he wanted to hire, and I knew it would come out in the book. He did not want him. And I think a strong AD should have said, listen, it's my responsibility to hire the best coach for this job. Sure. I don't think this is the guy. He shouldn't have hired him. I don't want to hear about, they'd have been upset with me, or it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You're the athletic director. Your job is to hire the coach. You had to fire one. You got to hire one. You should have hired the best person. But I'm not surprised at all that he had thought about other people, that he even considered other people for that job. So that didn't shock me. The regions have always, and it's not just here at Nebraska, famously, Texas A&M and the board they have there, which isn't called the Board of Regents, it's called something else, have interfered. Auburn famously interfered with coaching searches and stuff. So it's not surprising. I would have loved for Dana to have come here. No offense to Hoiberg. I know Dana, I had a chance to talk to Dana a couple of times when Dana was, there was an Alzheimer's luncheon dinner thing. He was either one of the big keynote speakers or something, and I spoke to him. One of his parents, I can't remember if it was his dad or his mom, was struggling with some stuff. And so I know there was a time where he wanted to move back to Nebraska to be closer to his parents. I knew that. And I don't know if that's why he would have taken the job. I would have loved to seen that. I mean, with all his success, it'd been great if he could have come back.
Yeah.
But again, if you're the AD, I don't care who's telling you that you can't hire this person. You're the athletic director, and you got to make that hire. As long as the money's there for it, you got to make the hire.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting perspective from you because what was your qualifier, right? Like you had to have a better spine, a stronger spine to just put your foot down. But it did seem like, especially when he tells a story about how he basically got a conduct review and was like, dude, you are like, the alcohol evaluation.
And that was a little bit late. That was a little bit later, right?
Yeah. But it just seems like he thought he was on thin ice and he was honestly afraid and scared of going against Regents and going against Pillen and losing his job. And so,
and that was 2019. We're talking about 2018.
No, I know, but I'm saying over. Well, 20. Yeah, 20. I guess you're right. So maybe he wasn't in bad standing before that. But he was
the strongest he could have been. He had just been hired. He had just been hired. He had just fired the other coach.
So good points, right? Was he ever that strong though? Like, was he ever really that strong to do that stuff? And and if he did right away, if he came out right away and said, "Hey, I'm gonna do all of this, and I don't care what you think, you don't think," that they would have been like, "Okay, we'll fire your ass."
I don't believe they would have fired him.
Okay.
First of all, so you have to win this in the court of public opinion. That's where you have to win this. And I understand that pretty early on, late October, whatever, it was a given that most Nebraska fans wanted Scott Frost. I understand that. We're talking about a little bit before that, earlier, like mid-October.
Yeah.
At that point, he's got to make sure that he is saying to people, we're going to hire the best person, the most experienced, that's going to make this place what Nebraska needs to be in football. That's what he needed to say. I think he could have used public opinion. He could have also leaked stuff. It's been leaked before. He could have leaked stuff as well if he wanted to. If he wanted to not hire Scott Frost, he could have done it. The man was he was an AD at Oregon and other places. He knew how to run the political part of this.
But I do think that you have to think back to the time because right now, right, Scott Frost has failed. Scott Frost was not cut out to be a Big Ten Power 5 head football coach. It was we all know that now, right? But at the time, the guy was coming on, was the hottest coach and hire. He went undefeated.
But that hadn't happened yet. But
they were trending that way. They were trending that way.
It was a long way. These are multiple games.
I know, but I'm telling you, we're trending in that direction. So in the court of public opinion, if you get down to the nitty gritty, right, when you're about to hire him and he is undefeated and he is about to go, win a Peach Bowl national championship at UCF, he would have never won the court of public opinion if he didn't hire.
Yeah, and you're into December. You're into December. I'm not talking about December. He had a conversation long before that with Chip Kelly.
I know, but
he had that conversation already. It wasn't. We're not talking about when he could have made the hire earlier if he wanted to. If he honestly walked into that meeting with his wife and Matt and Scott and said to himself, this guy isn't up for this job, it's almost a dereliction of duty and your responsibility to hire a guy who you don't believe can do it. Think about being a boss and hiring somebody, thinking to yourself, this guy can't do the job. Thinking about that. That's irresponsible.
But I once again back to the court of public opinion. Right
in December, right?
He was never going to win that, even if he was right in being like.
Depends on who he hires, though. See, so Nebraska fans are really interesting about this. And I remember when they were looking for somebody when they hired Matt Rule, and I remember somebody, I think it was Mitch Sherman, tweeted something about, let's see how people react to whoever they hire. And I wrote back to him. I said, it doesn't matter who they hire. Nebraska fans are going to convince themselves that this is the right guy. If they would have hired Chip Kelly, they would have convinced it. If it was Dan Mullen, they would have convinced themselves. You just got to let it happen, and you got to be the balls of the organization.
They would convince themselves that they like it.
They always do.
But for a very long time, there would be, how the hell did we not get our 1997 national championship quarterback?
See, here's what you don't know. Here's what you don't know. There were major columns in the newspaper written by Henry Cordes of reasons why he should not be coming back here. Right? I mean, everything from Lawrence Phillips through his contentiousness with the program from the time he went to Stanford, then came back, and people were back. There was a lot of reasons you could have played this.
But then we wrote a comic book, and then we also wrote a book that described that in 2024 that they were going to beat Texas in the national championship game.
No, all that happened. I'm just telling you, you can sell it, but you could have easily sold this. I don't think it's as easy as you think. I think you could have attempted to do it, but I don't think it's as easy as you think. I honestly don't like. Okay, so your point, right? When he first gets hired, he's the strongest that he ever going to be, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, you know this too. You're still the new guy. Right, you still need to curry public opinion. You still need to get the trust of your regents. You still need to get the trust of your chancellor. You still need to get the trust of your president. And clearly, having that trust and being in favor with those people is valuable to Bill Moos at the time.
He was 68 years old. He wasn't 12. He wasn't 20. He wasn't 30. He was 68. He's a grown-ass grandfather. He could have done whatever he wanted when he got hired with that job.
It's on him. You honestly think that he could have looked all those people and said, we're not going to hire Scott Frost, and they would have been okay with it?
He could have looked to the people who he had to tell, the regents, his president, and his chancellor, and said, this guy can't do the job. You hired me to do it. If you don't want me, and again, at that age, okay, this is the end. You know, you got old. You got your dad. Listen, at that point, you don't give a.
I mean, clearly he does. Clearly he does.
You shouldn't.
This whole book is him giving a damn about his public opinion. This whole thing is him people liking him and people having sympathy for him.
He's looking for scapegoats in the book. I understand that. But at the time, you have to make a decision best for the university and your job. He failed in his job by hiring a guy.
I agree with that. I agree with that. He failed. I agree with that. And I don't read this book thinking that he's a good athletic director. And I don't read this book thinking that, you know, he wasn't in the wrong and he didn't have his mistakes. He absolutely did. At the same time, I just can't agree with the opinion that he could have just put his foot down and said, we're not going to bring in Scott. I just don't think that could have happened. I don't think that could have gone over. And I understand what you're saying about, you know, you're older and there are people where at that point you don't give a damn. You're totally right. I don't think he's one of those people. I definitely do think he's one of those people.
Here's another thing. I always try to tell people that do your job, right? That when you're talking about everybody or a lot of people, you're talking about a very small number. The majority of people in the state don't follow things day to day, right? They don't. Sure. I did. Again, I was doing a whole nother show where I wasn't talking about Scott Frost every day. They may have been talking about it on Sports Content. I wasn't talking about it because I knew that there was so many different reasons why he shouldn't get hired or why I thought he might not get hired because of all the animosity by the people who didn't like him and the people who were that played with him and all that. So there was a small number, and it's always remember the 1%ers. Remember who you're actually speaking to the majority of the time. The rest of the state, I think you could have explained very simply, I'm hiring the best coach. He didn't do that. I get that. All I'm saying is that was his job at the time. He failed to do his job. That should be, I don't know if that's in the book, but he should be saying in the book, this was my fault for not standing up and doing the right thing.
Oh, he does not say that. He says multiple times, if I had to hire Scott Frost, I would have been fired if I didn't hire Scott Frost. He even quoted Chattel. Like he literally quoted Chattel and said, my good friend Tom Chattel said, if I didn't hire him, they would have fired me.
This is Nebraska.
He believed that he would have been. He was in the room. He was in the room with those people, and he had those conversations with those people, and he had a genuine feeling and a genuine belief that if he didn't hire Frost, he would have been fired, even if he went ahead and got a guy who would have done a better job.
Here's the funny part about that.
And the fact he believed that is not good.
He didn't. I don't think he knows Nebraska well enough. He didn't know Nebraska well enough because they weren't firing him after 4 months on the job.
Well,
they weren't doing it. I mean,
but clearly, okay. Whether or not I agree, you're probably right. You're probably
Nebraska
right.
Nice wasn't getting him fired.
But you're probably right. But at the same time, he believed that. Like he thought that, and he described that he thought that, and the fact that he thought that,
or he's just scapegoating it, or he's just scapegoating it right now, or now he's just scapegoating it, and that could be what he's doing now too. A lot of the things he talked about are issues we've known forever. The biggest issue at the University of Nebraska and athletic department has always been above the coaching staff. This goes back to, Tom Osborne when he was trying to think about leaving and he wanted a certain AD. And instead of hiring the AD they hired they had Bill Byrne. They brought somebody in from the outside, and that caused a lot of contentiousness for the next 10 years.
Sure.
Right. So it's always been that, whether it's Harvey Perlman not being a sports person or athletics person who was mad because they were getting too much attention on that side of the school. It's always been that's been an issue. And from the regents on down, if you don't have symmetry between them, you're going to have the mistakes in the 25 years or the 20 years Nebraska's had.
I think I said this in the segment before, like, this book matters a little bit because it's the first time somebody walked out of the house, and was like, hey, everything that you think is going on inside that house. Yeah. It's going on.
Not the first time. There was a gentleman with the middle name Vincent Bo said it really well in front of a bunch of players that was recorded, saying exactly what the problems were.
That is a good point.
He said it right when it was.
That's a good point.
He knew what the problems were then. He said it a long time ago.
I always enjoy yelling at you. This is very reminiscent of our lunches over at DJ's Dugout. So I appreciate you as always. These are always fun. And yeah, you learned me some things. So that was good stuff. You're the best. I'll talk to you soon. All right.
We're done already. Wow, that was quick.
No, it wasn't. That was like 20 minutes, dude.
That was not. We got on at 5 after. We didn't start till 7. So 35, right? That's when you finally got me on. 16 minutes. You're a jerk. Okay, fine.
I believe you asked one question, Matt.
Well, yeah, that's all that needs to happen here. It just turns into like Master and Michael on 1620 The Zone. Is what this turns into.
I'm just gonna go sing the Black National Anthem, and you guys have a great day.
Lift every voice and sing, Michael.
There you go, baby.
All right, talk to you soon, my friend. I don't agree with him, but I love him. Don't agree with him, but I love him. I don't think he could have pulled that off, but it is what it is.
It would be a much tougher putt. Yes.
Yeah, you're going from six footer to 60 footer there, but it is what it is. Coming up next, as God intended, the odd news with Josh Odson right before the 12 o'clock hour on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
It's lunchtime. Time for some odd news and maybe tactical poop stories from Josh Odson.
I don't think I have anything like that
Dang
today.
Dang it. Sindelar gets to eat his lunch today.
Yeah, we never know where we're going, though.
I love that.
Yeah.
Roads.
We don't need them.
We don't need them. Never needed them.
Let's see.
Streetcars, though.
Definitely need that. It's important.
So important. So vitally important.
Dallas is where we begin the odd news
All right,
today.
let's start in Dallas.
A 12-year-old's 4-year-long science project. I'm going to do the math for you on that. That means he started this when he was 8.
Wow. All right.
May have resulted in,
try hard.
Yeah, that's right, in him becoming the youngest person to ever achieve nuclear fusion.
You're kidding.
I'm not. Aiden McMillan, a Dallas Independent School District 7th grader, said he started work on his ambitious project when he was just 8 years old and spent the first 2 years studying nuclear physics concepts before building his first prototypes. Said it took some work to ensure his mother was comfortable with his tinkering. There were some alarm bells with my mom, yes. She was like, whoa, 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 take a step back. Tell me exactly what could go wrong.
Why do you have uranium in the house? What? Why is there mercury on my dining room table?
Yes. We got neutrons. Yeah. Kind of tearing up about it because it was like hard to describe. It was like the end of a long, long journey, says McMillan. He's now applying to the Guinness World Records Board to be recognized as the youngest person to achieve nuclear fusion. The record is currently held by Jackson Oswalt, a Tennessee native who achieved the feat hours before his 13th birthday 8 years ago.
What a bunch of nerds. Seriously. Go and touch grass.
I think this is very cool. Kids do science experiments, but that kid is getting stuffed in a lot.
I do. Thank you. Okay. It's just a little too much. Okay. Like I love smart people. All right. I love smart people, love surrounding myself with smart people. All right. But like there's a level here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain level of like we're completing nuclear fusion.
We're just at the reading books level.
Seriously. Don't you have an AR accelerated reader book that you have to get 30 points on?
Get you a personal pan pizza.
Shouldn't you be having Mountain Dew?
Playing Minecraft?
Rolls? Yeah. No. Hey, Timmy, we're going to the school dance. We're gonna hang out with Lisa and Tina and Brittany. You want to come with? No, I guess
you guys will never achieve nuclear fusion.
That's our next.
Yeah, we're kind of okay with that, bud.
Yeah, we're totally fine with that. That's what Plycat said. Young Sheldon type stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's literally an episode in Young Sheldon.
Oh no.
All right, what's next?
United Airlines passenger ended up in a different country after accidentally boarding the wrong flight.
That's on you.
I believe
that is on that person.
I believe this is the plot to Home Alone 2, but we read on. The passenger was headed from LA to Nicaragua with a layover in Houston.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
But ended up in Tokyo instead. Now I'm going
to be real with you.
That's the other direction.
At what point do you realize? Oh no.
Oh, good question.
When you're like, wow, I didn't know that there was this much ocean between California
it would
and
be
Houston.
The ocean. Yeah. That's if you had a window seat, I guess.
Oh,
right?
I guess if you're in the aisle, you're like, wow, I thought this was only 2 hours. We've been on this plane for 7.5. Do you communicate to the flight attendant? I'm not supposed to be here.
Great question.
Do you also
that answer might be in the story. I don't know.
Also, do you get refunds from Nicaragua and then just be like, I guess I'm taking a trip to Tokyo? Which, by the way, I'm assuming the flight to Tokyo is probably more expensive than the other one.
I would think so. Houston to Nicaragua, probably.
I'm going to tell you
cheap.
something right now. I would love to go to Tokyo. I would love to eat sushi. I would love to indulge in their food culture. You know, I'd love to be tall.
Okay. A spokesperson for United said, we followed up with the airport to understand how this could have happened, reached out directly to the customer to apologize, and offered travel credits and reimbursement.
Okay. I'm staying in Tokyo, by the way. I'm fully staying in Tokyo. And I'm like, all right, new vacation.
The passenger reportedly realized mid-flight that he or she was on the wrong flight and asked the flight attendant why the trip to Houston was taking 6 hours instead of 3.
There you go.
The person landed in Tokyo, stayed for 2 nights.
Okay.
While sorting out the travel itinerary.
Explore a new country, a new land. I think that, you know what? I wish that happened to me. I wish on a flight from like Kansas City to Denver, I just ended up in Spain, you know? Oh, hell yeah. Okay. I'll pay you. And I'll get a bunch of travel credit. What's our final story?
Final story, we go to North Carolina.
All right.
Where
Michael Jordan.
That's right. Not in this story. Hornets basketball, that scrappy bunch of fighters. Not in this story.
Mainly Isaiah Stewart.
Yes.
Detroit.
Former Little Caesars employee in North Carolina.
I love it when we start off with a banger like that.
Was in need of some dough when he started making and selling pizzas after hours at his past place of employment. Police arrested Jonathan Hackett, 41 years young, in connection with a break-in at a Little Caesars about 80 miles southeast of Raleigh. Hackett allegedly unlawfully entered the business on 2 separate occasions.
Okay.
During the first incident, he prepared pizzas, sold them to customers, and kept the profits. During the second incident, the suspect allegedly broke into the business while employees were still present.
What a dummy.
They attempted to prevent him from entering, which resulted in a physical altercation.
Did they come back? Like, you got to think the employees came back and were like, none of this stuff looks like what we left it like. Like someone was, can you imagine going to a Little Caesars and be like, somebody was here.
Somebody was
making
overnight.
a pie.
Probably got a phone call the next morning. Hey, you left, you left the flour everywhere. It's kind of a mess. What happened last night? Like, no, we cleaned.
I just think it's a risky hustle. That's what I think. Very risque hustle. And then stupid too, by the way. So like all these people we read in the odd news stories, low IQ. I mean,
yes.
To come back whilst the people were still working, like what were you going to do? Hey guys, no big deal. Yeah, when you're done and you close out, I'll just wait for my illegal shift.
I got the next shift.
Don't worry. What do you mean the next shift? We're closed. No, I got it.
Most businesses will tell you the hours of operation online or even on a little sticker.
Yeah, how do you get got like
Uh-huh.
that?
Generally, give yourself an hour after closing for the building to still have people in it.
Honestly, if I pulled up to the Little Caesars and it was closed, but it was operating, I wouldn't ask any questions. I'd just be like, wow, they're so nice tonight. They're putting in extra work. I'll have a pizza. That's how I would approach it. Be like, we don't have enough places nowadays in America that stay open 24 hours. Good for Little Caesars.
We don't have enough businesses that stay open past the time they're advertised to be open.
This has a drive-through, right? This is the Little Caesars with a drive-through.
I don't
know.
know.
I'm assuming.
I don't know. Maybe.
That's something. And by the way, quite the impressive task to run a Little Caesars all by yourself, if we're being honest. I know he got fired, but he must have been a pretty good worker.
Maybe that was
to operate it all on your own.
Maybe that's what he was trying to prove to the people that fired him.
If I was the owner, I'd be like, "You want to hop on? You want to come back? I mean, we need more people like you."
Yeah.
It's like that scene in Ted, where he's like, "I did it on the produce. That took guts.
We need more people like you. You got management written all over you, kid."
I did it with a parsnip. And then I sold that parsnip. That was fun. Alrighty. Coming up next, the big game tonight. The big game. No, I'm not talking about USA versus Canada.
Okay, I was gonna make
and
sure.
I'm not talking about the Bean Pot classic that happened yesterday. I'm definitely not talking about Illinois versus Wisconsin. That's happening later tonight. I'm talking about Nebraska.
Iowa State, TCU.
No.
That's right. Yep.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
We didn't talk about the Patino Bowl, by the way. Xavier really pushes
overtime.
I know. Would have been a hell of a win for young Patino. But old Patino stands tall. 2-0 this year against his son. He's going to get his son fired.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kidding. Richard ain't going anywhere. Up next, Purdue versus Nebraska breakdown here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're all in on curling. Corey, they're in some power play.
I didn't know there were power plays in curling.
I
I'm going to
didn't-
freely admit this to everyone.
Why?
I know there's some people in the chat that know more about curling than me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Hey, Josh.
I don't have to know the most about
look
this
me in the eye.
sport.
Look me in the eye.
Yes, sir.
I don't give a damn that you don't know about curling.
I'm enjoying it, though.
I'm enjoying it. This is kind of electric. So
It's a gold medal
I
game.
have a lot of questions about curling. Number one, how much is one stone?
Now that we can figure out.
Yeah. How much is
How
one
much does
high
one
quality curling stone?
weigh?
Secondly,
42 pounds.
okay, I'm talking about
Between
price.
38 and 44.
Price.
Oh.
Because I'm not like a marble guy or anything like that. Like I'm not an interior design.
$600. You can buy a full set of 16 for $9,600.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. You knew. I'm not, like I said, I'm not, he was in interior ministry. He's an interior decorator. Well, his house didn't look that nice. I'm not in Italian marble or anything like that. And I'm not in the stone business, if you will. But like looking at these stones, I was like, there's no way that they are inexpensive. Secondly, I would love to know, like, the stones are banging off the stones, right? So how long do they last? Like, you got to think they chip, right? And you got to think that they crack. You got to think that they wear down. It just doesn't. This seems like a really expensive sport and hobby to get into.
Whoa. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Google AI. So grain of salt.
Grain
here
of
with
salt
this
here.
answer.
Yep.
A single high quality curling stone, typically made from rare Scottish granite,
There it
lasts
is.
for about 50 to 70 years.
Whoa.
With regular maintenance and, if necessary, refurbishing, replacing the handle, repolishing the surface.
Okay.
These 42-pound stones can remain in service for decades.
All right. So we're good. We're good. So it's a one-time $9,600 investment, essentially. Okay.
Not bad.
That's not bad. That's cheaper than hockey. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
If you told me that $9,600 would cover everything for 10 years of hockey, that would be one hell of a deal. That would be one. That doesn't even cover 2 seasons. That barely, by the way, I went to a hockey shop here in Ralston just because, like, old man walking around wanted to see the prices. I don't know if people really do that, but like they were like, "You looking for anything?" I go, "No, I just want to see how ridiculous this has gotten." And I know, Josh, you potentially are interested in maybe getting your young son into hockey at some point. I know that that's something you're looking at. I'm telling you right now, I would need a payment plan personally if I was going to get anybody into hockey. It was ridiculous what the prices were compared to what they've been. It is like 2 different home payments if you want to get your son or your daughter into youth hockey. Let alone, by the way, the next stick that I buy will be the last stick that I buy.
Oh, retirement stick.
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm spoiled, so I don't want to play with a cheaply made stick. At the same time, it's like next one I buy, I'm like, this is it, buddy boy. We ain't investing this anymore. So curling going on right now in the Olympics. It's fun. Will be fun today. Is at 1:00. USA versus Canada women's hockey. Big game. USA's been playing fine. Canada's still a wagon. We'll see. They got to play a little bit better.
Canada without their best player,
Without
lower body injury.
But Hillary Knight, absolute hockey legend, her 5th Olympics. She's absolutely insane. Only 1 gold medal. Hopefully she gets a second one. Today, not a medal game, but still massive in determining the seeding and who you play and how your path into getting into the gold medal game, which should not be overly difficult for USA women's hockey, but it will be easier if they can win today's game. People forget 2010, the men's hockey team beat Canada in their first game, absolute thriller, and then in the second game, golden goal loss. The USA men won't play the Canadians until they won't play the Canadians until the gold medal game if they end up getting there. Which Finland got I looked at Finland's roster, pretty good team for the Finns. Pretty good, really good roster for Sweden. Sweden's got a really, really good roster. once again, this Olympics is fun and it's great, and I'm happy the NHL hockey teams or the NHL players are back to being, wow, they just hit it right in the middle. What a great curl. That was insane.
Good curl.
Great curl. It's great that the NHL players are back in Olympic hockey. I'm a big fan of that. I think it's going to be great. The interest and eyeballs on it is going to be great for the sport. I'm so excited about it. The same time, the Russians not being in it doesn't make it as legitimate, as
okay. I see what you're saying.
The Russian hockey team this year would have been a wagon. Would have been really, really hard to beat. And so, medal's a medal. No one's complaining. But I'm definitely putting out the precursor that if the Russians were allowed to play in the Winter Olympics for men's hockey, it could very well be a very different tournament. Alrighty, talked about a big game happened at 1 o'clock. Let's talk about a big game happened at 6 o'clock. Nebraska men's basketball takes on Purdue. This is a big game. This is the first time that Nebraska men's basketball has been at full strength, at full capacity against a high-level team since Michigan State. Okay? They were not at full capacity against Michigan, and they weren't at full capacity in terms of their players being as healthy as you hope at this point in the season against Illinois. This is a prime opportunity for them to pick up another high-quality win. Nebraska men's basketball is on that 2-seed line. They were, for a while, kind of holding serve as the top 2 seed in bracket matrix. They since kind of dropped to the last 2 seed. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to be a 3 seed in this NCAA tournament. There are some high-quality teams that potentially could be a 14 seed. North Dakota State, St. Thomas, those are 2 of them. Hawaii's one of them. UC Irvine's one of them. Troy. These are teams that are, pretty damn good in the net ranking. And while, you would still be a heavy favorite against a 14, you definitely could get got by a 14 this year if you're just kind of looking at where these teams analytically rank. And so to be a 2 seed definitely gives yourself, a better path and more cushion to making that second weekend. So this is a big game tonight for both teams. I mean, look at Purdue, right? They've had a tough couple of last weeks. And, this Purdue team, when they're playing at a top level, right? When they're playing at their very best, they're national championship contenders. The thing is that has not been the case over the last, I want to say 14 days, 15 days. Like that loss on the road to UCLA, that was kind of your classic, okay. Like that happens in the Big Ten, right? You go on the road to the West Coast, right? You played USC a couple days before that. You lost a close one. UCLA, not a great team, but a fine team. That's you can live with that.
Annoying ass coach.
Then you go and you play Illinois, and you allow a freshman to walk into Mackey Arena and drop 46 points. And, Trey Coffin-Red only had 12, Clough had 9, Lawyer had 6. And you just did not get the performance you needed out of your top dudes in that game. And you allowed this skinny little 6'6" freshman that nobody knew about from Shawnee, Kansas, to nearly drop 50 on your head. It was an opportunity for them to get a high quality win over a high quality opponent at home, and they didn't perform like they needed to. So one of those things where Purdue, and then they go and they play Indiana, and when they play Indiana walks in that game like at home against Assembly Hall. Like that's a big deal for them. That was a big deal game for Indiana, much like they did it the year before. Indiana, kind of teetering on that 9, 10, 11 bubble. Like they needed to win that game as a major resume builder, and they went in and they took advantage of that. And Purdue just looked off. I mean, they've just looked off the last couple of weeks. And frankly, they looked off against Oregon as well. Oregon's terrible. Oregon is awful, right? I know we spent a lot of time talking about Dana Altman and the Crab Creek Chronicles today. That is not a good basketball team, okay? They are just, they're big, but they're not good. They're just not good, plain and simple. They're 1-12 in the Big Ten standings. And they got taken to the limit, man. They got pushed. They got pushed to the limit at home, of all places, against Mackey. So I'll tell you, I'm going to be real with you right now. I'm confident Nebraska's going to win this game. I'm confident Nebraska's going to win this game. because
Confident.
Nebraska's played like the better team over the last month. Nebraska has been in these situations before where they play high quality opponents and they've won those games against Illinois, against Michigan State. Should have won that Michigan game. Okay. Nebraska, and here's why I'm really taking Nebraska. Because and these people are right.
1.5 point favorite.
The key to this Purdue team is Fletcher Lawyer, right? He's the straw. He's the connector of everything. The straw that stirs the Purdue drink is Braden Smith, who is one of the best playmakers the Big Ten has seen in terms of his career. I mean, ever since he was a freshman, he's come in and made an instant impact. And he was the Big Ten Player of the Year last season. Like, he is a stud. But the connector between the spacing that allows Trey Kaufman-Renn, to kind of dominate in the paint, along with allowing Braden Smith to just run all over the place and, pass the ball and have this beautiful offense, which, by the way, Purdue averaging the most assists per game in the country. The reason why they can do what they do is because of just the sharpshooting of Fletcher Lawyer and his ability to just make you pay from the outside. He has not had his best games though more recently against a bad Maryland team and against a bad Oregon team. He played really well, but when he played high quality opponents like Illinois, UCLA, and Indiana, did not shoot it well. And so a lot of people are coming in here and being like, man, if Fletcher Lawyer gets it going tonight for Purdue, look out. Like, that's going to be the way that Purdue wins. And if he doesn't play well, then Purdue is probably going to lose. Like, that's a fair argument. Here's my thing about the Nebraska basketball team. You can't really say that about one individual player on Nebraska. Like, we've seen games where guys can not play their best, and it still doesn't matter because this team has guys who just step up in the biggest moments, right? It's not so much that Nebraska has depth from a quantity perspective, but Nebraska has a ton of depth from a quality perspective. They're not trotting out 10 guys a game. They're not like Auburn last year where they're going, all the way down to the end of the bench, playing an 11th guy for 14 minutes. But they are, from a depth perspective, they have a ton of quality where, okay, if Rink Mask isn't playing his best, well, it's the Braden Frager game. And if Price Sanford isn't shooting the ball, then Jamarcus Lawrence, 27 points against Indiana, and if if Jamarcus is off, guess who's making threes at the highest clip of his career in an incredibly efficient manner? It's Sam Hoiberg, right? You can kind of pinball here. Like, more things have to go wrong for Nebraska not to play the offense we know that they can compared to Purdue. Now, at the same time, what Purdue has is one of the best offensive minds in college basketball. And they have done it in the past against Nebraska. And Fred talked about it yesterday in his press conference. He goes, we know they're going to throw everything and the kitchen sink at us tomorrow in terms of sets, in terms of offensive plays, in terms of looks on defense. We know that we are going to get Purdue's best shot. And that's just what happens when you play a great coach like Matt Painter. So that's a factor as well. So you can't count out the multiplicity of Purdue, the complications of Purdue. I'm telling you right now, like, if there's a coach and a team that is going to be able to look at Nebraska's defense and maybe find a hole or two and not allow them to trap on the baseline or, get them stuck in tough rotations, whatnot, probably is Matt Painter. So that will be a difficult thing to fight through for Nebraska. But if we're just talking about who do I trust, like in terms of value, just who do I trust is going to step out on the floor and play their best basketball more? I trust Nebraska way more than I trust Purdue. I trust Nebraska way more than I trust Purdue. And so that's why I'm confident. I'm not saying this is going to be a blowout. I'm not saying that Nebraska's going to win by 15. I'm not saying that this won't be competitive. Like, I would not, like, tonight Braden Smith is going to make, back-to-back threes, and Wren is going to have a breakaway layup, and it's going to be an 8-0 run, and they'll either take the lead by 4, or they'll cut the lead down to 2 or something like that, and you might get a little bit nervous. But for the one thing that this Nebraska basketball team has done more than anything is just play nearly, I don't know, I think the whole play 40 great minutes of basketball is so hard to do, but they've consistently played 37 great minutes and 36 great minutes and 35 great minutes. And that's what you need to win in the Big Ten. And so I just think the consistency of this Nebraska basketball team, is what I trust more than anything. And just Purdue has been anything but consistent the last couple of weeks. Granted, earlier in the year, they were very, very good and they won those games. And, they played a tough non-con. But, right now, that loss to UCLA, they got there. And then that was a massive game for Indiana, and they treated it like that, and they won that game. And then that performance against Purdue, it was a look-ahead spot, and they looked ahead indeed, and they didn't play their best ball. So, obviously, you're going to be concerned if Lawyer goes off. And you got to be very cognizant of the fact that Matt Painter's a great coach. And look at this. Let me read you these shooting statistics.
Please.
38.5% from three is Purdue. That's 14th in the country. 59.1% from two. That's 17th in the country. Their overall shooting percentage is 51.1%. That's 10th in the country. They attempt the 165th most three-pointers, but they make the 80th most. They're incredibly efficient, right? They're doubling their efficiency, essentially, right? 165 most shot, but we make the 80th most. We're 9 of 23 on average. Now, the one thing that kind of bodes well for Nebraska here, right, is that, we've seen Nebraska get a little got. Like, if you want to point out some flaws Nebraska's had in those Michigan games and the Illinois games, it's the following. It's the getting to the free throw line. It's the, playing aggressive defense but allowing teams to get to the charity stripe. Purdue's not going to do that against you. They're 289th in free throw attempts 325th in three free throw attempts per game, and they're 289th in free throws made per game. So if you're looking for a potential advantage here, right, it's in the free throw game where you're not going to get killed in that department. Also, too, Nebraska isn't a team that has counted a ton on free throws this season because they've shot the ball.
They don't get them.
Well, they don't get them. I mean, their free throw attempts per game this year is 15.7. That's 351st in the country.
Because this conference hates Nebraska. If only someone would have had the audacity to bring Nebraska back to the Big 12.
What I'm saying, though, about the free throws.
Oh, the free throws, yes, sorry.
Is that Nebraska hasn't done, the last two games at least, right? Overall, Nebraska's done a great job of not sending teams to the free throw line. But Illinois got to the free throw line a ton, and we all know that Michigan got to the free throw line a ton. Nebraska hasn't done a great job in the last few games against the two top teams that they played at not allowing them to get to the charity stripe. That's not a concern you're going to have with Purdue. That's not something that they do. So that bodes well as well. So it's just kind of one of those things where they play their game. Coaching is going to be very important. Making adjustments to Purdue's defense will be important. Making adjustments to their offense is very important. And we talked about the free throws. Like, this is going to be a fast-paced game. This is going to be one of those things where I don't expect a ton of whistles. So it's one of those things you got to manage the flow of the game. You got to manage the speed of the game. You got to make sure you're playing your game. You're making adjustments on both sides of the court. But at the end of the day, this is a make your shots game. Got to make your shots. Okay. And to me, I'm confident because Nebraska, as of, late, has been more consistent in that regard. They've just been the more consistent basketball team. We've seen the bottom fall out for Purdue. We saw it fall out a little bit against Oregon. We definitely saw it fall out defensively against Illinois. Illinois damn near scored 90 points against them. We haven't really seen the bottom fall out for Nebraska. Right? Nebraska's has played much better basketball as of late than Purdue has. So because of that, because of the consistency, I'm confident in the Huskers. Confident in the Huskers.
Confident.
Jimmy goes, is Nebraska's margin of error less than Purdue? I think so. I think Purdue is very reliant on one guy playing really good basketball tonight. If Fletcher Lawyer does not play well, it's going to be tough for Purdue to win this game. If Rink Mask doesn't play well, I still won't be the best circumstances for Nebraska, but we've seen them survive bad Rink Mask games in the Big Ten and win. We've seen them survive some off shooting nights from guys across the floor, and they still win those games because they just have a quality of depth, plain and simple. So margin of error less for Nebraska, in my opinion, on top of, it's at home, it's at PBA, it's at the vault, man. Like that's a home court advantage.
Distinct advantage.
It is a distinct advantage. And that's awesome that Nebraska has that. And they've earned that advantage. Coming up next, we're going to talk about a team that has an advantage too at home, but have they fully earned it? Probably not. Tim Verghese and I are going to talk about some Nebraska football here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
It's a Tuesday, and it's 12:37 here on Middays with Matt, meaning we bring on our very, very special guest from inside Nebraska and rivals, Mr. Tim Verghese. Tim, how you doing, my man? How's everything going?
Hey, how we doing?
Doing good.
Not bad. I can't complain.
Good. I'm glad you can't complain. That's a sign of a healthy life. Let's talk about it, man. You're kind of outside of busy season a little bit. You dropped a really good article a couple hours ago, giving us a Nebraska recruiting stock report, which, by the way, looked pretty damn good. I like some of the names that I'm seeing here, especially an offensive tackle that's number one in the class of 2027. Tell us about where Nebraska kind of stands with some of these top guys they're going after.
Yeah, so I mean, offensive line, I think, is where you're looking in this 27 cycle as like, okay, this is like, if you have one unit circled, I would say offensive line and defensive back, I think, are the rooms where you could have a really elite haul. And I mean, with offensive line, I mean, they're in it for basically the top three offensive linemen in the country. You have the number one offensive tackle nationally in Mark Matthews out of St. Thomas Aquinas down there in Fort Lauderdale. Powerhouse program, of course. He has no shortage of options. There were points last offseason coming off of he visited for the Huddle Futures Forum. Coming out of that visit, there were multiple people in the know on that recruitment that were like, hey, Nebraska can pull this off. Like, really believe Nebraska can pull that off. But then we got into the season and Matthews never returned to campus. And, you saw programs like Ohio State, Miami, Texas A&M, Tennessee kind of start to surge a little bit and kind of earn better standing than Nebraska did. Since Jeep Wade's joined Nebraska staff with Lonnie Teasley as well, they've gotten back in touch and really picked things back up. And I think in terms of how Wade coaches the offensive line, I think Matthews is a little more receptive to that than what Nebraska was previously running up front. And so that's been big. And they're planning on getting him on campus here for a spring visit. And now they're on the short list of programs contending for an official visit. You still have ground to make up, I think, in particular on the programs I mentioned, Miami, Tennessee. I think Texas A&M's in that mix, Ohio State, Notre Dame, all in the running. But Nebraska's done a lot right on the relationship side of things. And now with Jeep Wade in the building, of a coach with proven results, a track record of development, and a track record of development. I mean, I would say for this recruitment and for Kennedy Brown, the number 2 offensive tackle in the country, the continued development of Elijah Pritchett over these next few months through spring ball into fall camp, I think is really important. And Tree Babalati as well. I think both those guys putting up better tape than they have to this point in their careers early next year is really important for Nebraska's chances in both of these recruitments. And that brings me to Brown. I think if you're looking at it, because it's Brown and then it's Albert Simeon, the number 1 interior lineman. Those are the 3 top offensive linemen in the country. With Simeon, it's going to be tough to pull him from LSU and Texas A&M. But if you ask anybody who's the 3rd program besides LSU, Texas A&M, depending on who you ask, it's Nebraska, it's Alabama. But, in Nebraska, Alabama kind of round out this top 4 for Simeon. Ultimately, I just think the distance is going to be too much to overcome in that recruitment. Brown is a lot more open. He has legit national options. He's visited Nebraska before. He's multiple times at this point. Plenty comfortable with the coaching staff. It was visited by the staff again. Matt Rule stopped by last month. And then so, I talked to Steve Wilfong a little bit about it. And if you're looking at one of the 3 that Nebraska lands, it's Kennedy Brown. And again, it's going to be a long shot for any of these 3. You're going to be battling the who's who of college football to pick up any of these 3. You're going to have to allocate significant resources, but they're in the conversation for the best 3 offensive linemen in the country. And I don't know how many programs can really say.
Let's talk about this kind of slow development here. And the last couple of years, I don't, and you might know this better than me, but jogging my memory, I don't think Frost hit this part of the country as hard. But right now, you wrote in your rising and falling, they're going after another guy from Chicago. They're going after Tavares Harrington, the safety out of Mount Carmel, the school that formerly Trey Taylor went to. I mean, Harrington has a lot of interesting offers, right? Alabama at the top of the list, but then you got Auburn, Arizona State, Arkansas, and then, a couple other Power 5 programs throughout the country. Florida State there, Illinois is there, but Nebraska, like you said, trending up to get Harrington's commitment. I mean, does this kind of run of guys and run of targets in Chicago, does it stem from EJ Barthel? Does it stem from Keith Williams? Does it stem from Jay Taylor? Where is this coming from? And how encouraging is this trend of getting guys from Illinois and the Chicagoland area?
Yeah, I think it really stems from Bartel, in particular with their presence at Mount Carmel. So there are two. There's a Carmel Catholic, which is where Trey went, and then Mount Carmel is where Claude and Puma went.
Yeah.
And so Mount Carmel every year has talent. Like in addition to Tavares Harrington here in the 27 class, they're one of the best linebackers here in the 27 cycle. In 2028, they have a big defensive tackle whose nickname is Bone Crusher. He's like 55 pounds as a sophomore, so big body. But Nebraska's really tried to establish a presence there, and they got in with Claude kind of transferring in there as a senior, and so they were able to kind of be around that program a little more. Harrington in particular is the guy they've wanted, and they've really tried to get in the mix for. It hasn't happened. They tried to get him on campus for the battle at the Boneyard last summer. It didn't really happen. They tried to get him on campus for a game last fall. Didn't really happen. But they stayed in regular contact. They stopped through to see him again. And he plays now on the 7-on-7 circuit with Trey Taylor. And so you've got Trey working on him. You've got a few Nebraska commits working on him. And so now he's set to make his first visit. And Nebraska's also set to get an official visit from him. So they're one of the top 4 here. But again, you've got Bama, Georgia, Ohio. Like it's programmed. So it's you're battling some dudes. You're battling, programs that have success producing top defensive back talent. Michigan involved as well, and so it's going to be one of those recruitments where there's ground to make up, absolutely. But I think just in general, you're going to see a lot of Chicago. I mean, even beyond him, David Hill out of Homewood Flossner, defensive tackle, just outside Chicago, a guy they really like, and is rising up the board steadily. Like they're really trying to make Chicago a place that they can go into year in and year out, and for good reason. I mean, that flight's not very long. It's right in the region, and in terms of in terms of selling guys on playing, you're going to be back. You're going to be within driving distance from your family, pretty much almost anywhere you play in this conference, unless you get way out into the West Coast.
Well, another thing is too, though, Tim. Omaha and Lincoln, right? They don't fly out to a ton of airports, right? But one of the airports they do fly out to is O'Hare. And so I've taken that trip probably 50 times now. It's an easy flight, right? So even in terms of going back home to see your family, it's an hour flight, and you just go to the Lincoln Airport, they put you on a plane, they send you back. So the travel perspective is a great point for you. You can regularly go back and not be homesick and stuff like that if that's an issue. And also to another factor to add, and one of the reasons I think this is a big deal that they're getting into Chicago is that you don't really have that team in the state of Illinois and that team in Chicago, that college football team that owns that state, right? A lot of those top players, they go to national programs, right? They go to Michigan, they go to Ohio State, they go to Alabama. Sometimes they go to IMG, right? To go and, play more national teams and whatnot. Like Carnell Tate did that. JJ McCarthy did that. So it's one of those things where it's a state with a ton of talent, but nobody really dominates it. And I think the fact that Nebraska's dipping their toe in there, it's a good strategy and something that has kind of developed a little bit, right? They didn't do this in year one.
Oh, no, definitely not. And it just took time. I think more than anything, it's just building those relationships. So now that you have those relationships, now that you've gone in there, and I think the pulling Claude and Puma out of Chicago is a big deal. And also landing the commitment of Trey Taylor. I mean, people in that city, in that state, know what type of talent he is. And know how difficult of recruitment that was to win. And for Nebraska to kind of pop in there and turn that around and win that relatively as fast as they did, it kind of spoke volumes, and it's allowed them to establish, again, the presence you want at powerhouse programs. You want to be, you want to be stopping through Mount Carmel every year and not just wasting your time. You want to be stopping through Brother Rice and not just wasting your time. You want to get into the power programs in that city, and you want to be able to land talent.
Yeah. And it's funny, you bring up, Homewood, Flossmoor, Mount Carmel, Brother Rice, they're all a stone's throw away from each other, right? They're all pretty close to each other on the south side of the city. So it's one of those things where it's they're very well aware of who's coming in and who's coming out and where they're going. So I think it's great analysis by you. I mean, it's a place chock full of talent that should be more readily available, and the fact that they've been able to make relationships there is a big deal. Let's kind of take a pivot here. Have you read any of the Crab Creek Chronicles, Mr. Tim? Have you done any reading?
No, I've seen the excerpts, and
Okay.
like, to be honest, I will say I saw the title, and then I saw the like length in just terms of numbers, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, good for you.
Someone needed this.
Good for
Someone
you.
needed to step in and edit this. Like, this is just if the title and like literally the length is any indication, this is going to be a lot of rambling.
Oh, a ton.
Probably a lot of nonsense.
A ton. Well, another thing is that everybody was waiting a little bit like you to be like, I'll just wait for the quotes to come out. And we were all sitting here being like, I don't think anybody's going to do it. Let's just do it. Screw it. So we started reading polling stuff. Now, look, there's a lot of like turmoil that is reported that happened within the Nebraska athletic department, right? But a lot of the people who are involved in that said turmoil are no longer with the athletic department. They're no longer at Nebraska. And currently right now, if you look at the athletic department from a on the field perspective, they're killing it, right? I mean, obviously football, not where you want it to be, but basketball's great. Women's basketball's killing it. Baseball just won the Big Ten tournament title. Softball was on the national stage. Like, there's been a lot of really good, volleyball to mention another one, like a lot of really good progress there. Do you think like reports like this just in general ever affect an athletic department's, psyche or anything like that, or things happening even though it was so far removed?
I don't think so. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I think some of this too is kind of validating just in terms of how far they've come. You listen
Sure.
to you see some of this and you think back on again, people kind of scoffed when Matt Rule talked about like the situation they inherited. You're getting kind of a behind the scenes look here on just how chaotic the scene was before they got here.
Yeah.
Again,
Great
it's
point.
Not necessarily like the football. Yeah, it's not necessarily the football staff here that's come in and calmed everything down. It's not, but like as an athletic department, I do think more than anything, it's just kind of like, oh, we're in a better spot now. Like,
Sure.
It's not like this.
Sure. 1,000,000%. I think, and you're right. Like, nobody's perfect, but there definitely is like, you look at Troy Dannon and I think you have an understanding that like, okay, he's in charge, like he's leading the way, and he's making some tough decisions. And I don't think you get the vibe, at least from the outside looking in, that any of that is going on. And like you mentioned, it's a great point. I didn't really think of it that way. It does kind of validate Rule's points in a way of being like, hey, it was a crap storm before we got here. And it's not perfect, but it's heading in the right direction. Would you agree with that? It's heading in the right direction still?
Yeah, I would generally agree. So I mean, from a stability standpoint, it feels solid. Like at least right now, like in terms of foundation and where
Sure.
they're at, it feels a lot more sound than it was just even a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, what has this offseason in any way affected how you look at the program, or maybe have changed some previous judgments that you've had at all?
I
know it's a tough
I think
question. I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, I think we're still like we're still so early in it, relatively off season wise. And
Sure.
like I think a lot of my sense, like I look at how the fan base and just people in general feel about the program right now, and part of it I think is coming off like it's the way you ended the season left a tough, it leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. But I think, in a way, somewhat like I mentioned, perhaps this book could help. Perhaps, as we get into spring and kind of zoom out a little bit, could help of just being like valid, like I said, validating of just like how far this has come, and also like zooming out and looking at the state of the sport right now and like how hard it is to be stable.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
You've got stability. It's not necessarily like it's not even the results you want. You aren't reaching the heights you want just yet, and the pressure's on to kind of hit that, but you're a stable program with a floor. You have a good floor. You have a pretty solid, firm foundation for whatever comes next. You've left this place or this place is in a much better place now than when it was when your Rule and the staff took over. And ultimately, is that going to be enough for people around here? Not, and rightfully so. The amount of money they're spending.
Yeah.
Again, the importance of this team to or again, just the value in all of it. Like I get it. What they've done is not enough, and they need to get those results. But I think it is also just worth looking and seeing. Okay, like it could be a lot worse.
Sure. Well, I think what you kind of just elaborated there and talked about there was the balance of things, right? The balance that we kind of fairly need to have in a way of, okay, where do we want them to go? Yeah, but also how far have they traveled? And I think the book in a way kind of describes it. They've traveled pretty damn far, but still there's a lot of legwork to do. And I think we all can recognize that and talk about that. Tim Verghese of Rivals Inside Nebraska, one of the best interviews we have on this station day in and day out. You're also on the morning show as well. We appreciate your contributions to 1620 Zone every week, my friend. We'll talk to you next week, same time Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Talk soon.
Talk soon. Tim Verghese of Rivals Inside Nebraska. Coming up next, we're going to read some emails, go to the Equitable Bank inbox. We're going to read some texts as well, all here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, the Black Keys are headed to Omaha Peaches and Cream Tour with NE9V Monday, July 20th at the Astro Amphitheater. Pre-sale tickets on Thursday, February 12th at 10 a.m. The password is the Zone. Okay, so pre-sale tickets will go live Thursday, February 12th at 10 a.m. Password is the Zone. Password equals Zone. All caps. Zone. Tickets go on sale Friday, February 13th at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. More details can be found at 1620thezone.com. Also, too, we'll start it tomorrow. We'll go ahead and today we are going to give out St. Thomas versus Omaha Mavericks tickets. Okay, so only today we're going to give out tickets. We'll do that in about half an hour. We will give out tickets to Thursday's game between the Mavericks and the St. Thomas Tommies. Okay, that game's at February 12th on Thursday at Baxter Arena at 7 p.m. At 1:30, we will give out tickets. Okay, now on Thursday and Friday, we are going to give out tickets to the Omaha men's basketball game for Sunday against Denver. Okay, so that will probably be around 1:30 on Thursday and Friday. But today at 1:30, we are giving out tickets to the Mavericks versus St. Thomas, February 12th at 7 p.m. Okay, so stay tuned till 1:30 when we give out those tickets. I have a text here. 402-951-1620 is the way to text us. If you also want to call us on the Prairie Flower Casino hotline, 402-951-1620, Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. Text from Luke. Luke goes, I need some expert explanation. I have a few people in my life that are big Sam Hoiberg haters. They go as far as saying he should be playing NAIA basketball. I'm starting to think that these people aren't really Nebraska basketball fans, but they're just Nebraska football fans that will cheer for any other sport that is showing success, because in the 20 years that I've been in depression watching Nebraska basketball, Sam and this year's team is finally not giving me the here we go again feeling every other week. Please help me prove the haters wrong. I know Sam already has. You need new friends.
Yeah, that's kind of what I took away from it.
You need new people in your life. They don't know what they're looking at. Sam Hoiberg has scored double-digit points in his last 7 games.
Regardless of what you like, who you root for.
Yeah.
How do you not watch Sam Hoiberg play basketball and go, that guy's playing basketball the right way?
That guy he's NAI. He's 5'10". He leads the team in defensive rebounds. He's one of their better on-ball defenders. He's one of their smartest players. He's shooting the crap out of the ball right now from 3. What are you talking about? You need new people in your life. Those people are wrong. Sam Hoiberg is very, very good at basketball. He's very good for this team. If Sam Hoiberg was 6'4", he'd be an all Big Ten player. And yet, by the way, you watch it. He'll probably get some like honorable mention coach votes or some crap like that. You watch it, because there's no way. I mean, we've had 4 coaches at this point all go to the podium and unpromptly say that guy's their most important player. That guy impacts winning. I mean, that's the thing about Sam Hoiberg. You want to look at his stats and be like, oh, he only averages 9.5 points. Dude, I don't know. I don't know if there's a guy who impacts winning outside of, their top 2 players as much as Sam does. I mean, Sam just makes all of those plays that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. And then he makes a bunch of plays that do show up on the stat sheet. We're talking about a guy who's averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. I mean, Sam Hoiberg is shooting 41% from 3. What more do you want from this man? I don't get it. I mean, he's not gonna go to sleep and wake up 4 inches taller. I wish that could happen. Man, what I would do for that, what I would do to wake up and be 6'4", that's the only way. If you're hating on Sam Hoiberg now, that's the only way that you're ever going to like him. We go to the Equitable Bank inbox. Equitable Bank, we take banking. Personally, John has an opinion. He goes, Moos was hired to do one thing, hire Frost. He did that, and he wasn't going to do anything else. After what he did the finances at his previous job, why would he? No, he did hire Fred Hoiberg. Was a disaster at one point. But then it turned around. John also emails back in, the title being Catching Crabs Chronicles. I think that's different book.
Yeah.
I think that's a different piece of literature, my friend.
That's a funny idea, though.
He goes, Moose isn't going to be happy about you guys reading all those passages. Now no one will need to pay for the book. I think we did incredible amount of PR.
We're the only people promoting the book.
Chris emails in. He goes, please sarcastically weave in the saying it's a make or miss league /game /etc. And every time you are discussing basketball, this may in fact be the dumbest comment ever thought up. When you take a shot, you literally have two outcomes. You either make or miss the shot. How has this become such a throwaway statement? What is the third option? I don't think there is. I definitely can't say it's a make or miss game. They're going to get a lot of shots tonight. It's going to be when you have games that are very predicated and fast moving and the pace is high and it's going to be a lot of high volume shooting, it literally does come down to, do you make your shots? Right.
Versus a rock fight.
Versus like these two teams are bad at defense. This is really just going to come down to like who controls the pace of the game more. But the pace of the game will be what the pace of the game is. Like I said, I think that this game will be. This isn't going to be like, two Mike D'Antoni teams playing 7 seconds or less offense. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm more so getting at the fact that you got two teams that don't foul a ton, and you got two teams that don't go to the free throw line a ton. So it's kind of one of those instances where this game might be a quicker one. Could be less than 2 hours.
Hello.
Could be. Also, love the 6 p.m. tip. Love the 6 p.m.
It's a good tip time.
Is 6 p.m. the best kickoff /tip /puck drop time to have? Because I think for us, it doesn't really matter. We get off at around 3 o'clock, right? But like for your everyday man and woman, 9 to 5, get home. You get an hour to catch your bearings. You get an hour to lay down, maybe pour a glass of wine or a nice glass of whiskey. You hang out for a second, wait an hour, and then the game's on. And then the game's over, and it's only 8 o'clock, and you can read a book and go to bed.
Okay, so for TV viewing?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there's some logistics like, I get off work at 5. The game starts at 6.
Sure.
I got to get, that's a little harder, but.
I think for TV. Now, for going to the game, no. 6 o'clock is terrible because it's too quick of a turnaround.
Right. Probably want to push that back 6:37.
I think for viewing experiences, 7 is the best. Because especially for a basketball game, it's great because basketball games are 2 hours. I love 2 hours is perfect. 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, 15 minutes. Easy breezy cover girl, right? Football, 7 o'clock kickoff. Yeah. In terms of going to the game. In terms of viewing experience, fine.
Okay.
But in terms of going to the game, so this thing's going to end at 10:30, and then I gotta take forever to get out of the parking lot, and then it's going to take me another 35 minutes, depending on how far I live away, to get home. You're not getting 7 o'clock game for football. You're not getting home until midnight. There you go. That was a great discussion. You can email us and call us and text us your favorite tip times and kickoff times. That's actually a great conversation. We'll have some more great conversations here on Middays with Matt as we're in our final 1 o'clock hour. We got to talk about Charles Bediako for the final time. This is the final time we will talk about this guy.
Hallelujah.
And then we will never say his name again because he doesn't matter. And Nate Oates tried to throw him on us. It's ridiculous. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad that smart people prevailed. I'm glad that some people in connection to the rules that dictate what college sports looks like actually said, you know what? This would be stupid if we did this. Let's do the other thing. We'll talk about that here on Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone. Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
All right, programming update, because I messed up. We are not giving away St. Thomas tickets for Thursday, unfortunately. That's my fault. Read the wrong thing. We are, though, starting tomorrow, giving away Omaha Mavericks men's basketball game tickets for Sunday. That's at 12 p.m. on Sunday between Denver. So they already read it wrong. My mistake. They already gave them away for in the morning, but starting tomorrow for the Sunday game, we will be giving those tickets away here on 1620 The Zone. So stay tuned for that. Going from Omaha men's college basketball to just college basketball in general. Thank God. Thank God. This is over. It was dumb to begin with. It was stupid. I didn't know what the point was.
Don't be so hard on Bill Moos's book.
No, I'm not talking about Bill Moos's book.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about Charles Bediako.
Oh, this guy, yes.
We spent so much time and I used so many words and I got really angry about this whole thing. And it was literally just because I was like, this is so dumb and stupid that we're doing this. Like, we are going to change college basketball in its entirety for no good reason. And it's going to ruin the sport. And I had no trust in the system. I had no trust in the judges. I had no belief that cooler heads would prevail and we would make the right decision.
Hey, what if a two-way contract became a three-way contract and you could go college to G League to the NBA all on one contract?
I just, everything that's happened in the last couple of years, nobody thought. They're like, this is dumb, this is stupid, but he's probably going to end up playing. They're probably going to grant this guy eligibility. Because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
They just trip over themselves and they ruin their sport over and over and over again.
Well, we don't want to get sued because we were preventing someone from making a living. So, yeah, sure, whatever. Go ahead.
And so maybe that's the bigger story of this all, that this was just a simple resolution, and yet everybody freaked out because the system has failed so much that we thought it would do it again. But shockingly, it's so embarrassing. The NCAA is so embarrassing. Shockingly, somebody had common sense. And so the judge, probably should grab his name, went ahead and said, nope, Charles Bediako cannot play in the NCAA. And basically, you'll find this, you'll appreciate this. I was reading a CBS article and I was waiting to see, like, I was waiting for the complicated explanation of what went into this judgment, which was done by Daniel Pruitt. He was the judge who ruled against Bediako. I was trying to see, like, okay, what is the legal jargon here that essentially is like, this is why we decided not to do it. And while scrolling, I realized that there was no like complicated opinion, and there was no like, oh, the loophole, or this is why we did it. The judge simply was just like, dude, there's a precedent set that you have a deadline to choose when you go into the NBA draft or whether or not you return to college. You reached that deadline. You knew what the consequences of what your decisions were. The precedent had been set for many, many years that if you were to go into the draft, you no longer have eligibility. You were aware of that. You gave up your eligibility when you made that decision. I was floored. I was stunned. I was just like, wow, common sense in college sports. It's crazy. It's crazy that now that just things that are so routine and just so simple, like, we become surprised that they happen. But that's just the state that we're in. There's just a bunch of people with who are so spineless, and too many people with their hands on the wheel, and just you got a bunch of lawyers and athletes who, I don't want to completely bury them in the ground, because you know what, you got to do what you got to do, right? But they've taken advantage of the fact that there really isn't any system. So it's one of those things where it's like the entire time I was clutching my pearls and freaking out, thinking, wow, we're going to lose the integrity of college basketball. We're going to lose the foundation of college basketball. College basketball is going to become the G League. It's just going to become minor league basketball now. And it's not, it's going to lose the essence of what it was. And this judge, shout out Daniel Pruitt, said, no, this is stupid. You were in college during the NIL era. You had the opportunity to go back and make your money. You had the opportunity to not go into the draft. You had the opportunity to not expend your eligibility. No, dude. See right through you. The Charles Bediako case was more rooted in just, yeah, the guy's pro career failed and he would like to make money. He'd like to make more money. He'd like to be more popular. So one of those instances where you just don't trust the system because the system has not prevailed year in and year out. This time it did. Now, Nate Oates, I do have an issue with him. So Nate Oates said in a statement on behalf of Charles and on behalf of the team, he said, I thought it was kind of a no-brainer with the NCAA, that I didn't think it would be this much of an issue. The NCAA hasn't really changed much without courts forcing them to change. I thought the courts would see the inconsistencies in the rulings and agree with Charles's attorney. To me, the NCAA's point of why Charles shouldn't be eligible with all these rules that they have, but they're not applying those rules to all these players that they've made eligible. To me, it's very disappointing in the whole case, disappointing for Charles. So what he's referring to, and here's another quote from him, disappointed in the ruling, disappointed in the system, both the NCAA, the courts, the whole thing, just with all the inconsistency with who's eligible and what's not. Here's the key part. NATO skates. It just seems like the European international players are being given preferential treatment over the Americans. It more so happened today. Hopefully at some point somebody is going to win a ruling like this. Okay, Nate. That statement is ignorant. That's an ignorant statement because he knows, and I know, those comparisons are apples and oranges here. Okay? Like, Charles Bediako was in the NCAA. He was playing college basketball during the NIL era. He had a choice to make, a choice to make, and he knew that making a certain choice gave up his eligibility, and he made that choice. Okay? If you want to have a separate discussion about should previous professional European basketball players be allowed to play in college basketball, I'm all for it. I am all for having that conversation and maybe just saying, hey, in general, if you ever play pro, you can't come overseas, you know, and then maybe you make more of an effort to have systems that allow European basketball players to not have to go pro and then allow them to come to college basketball. I don't want to get into that, but if you want to have a whole conversation about whether or not pro-European players who are, by the way, still like of college age, by the way, if you want to have a conversation of whether or not they should be allowed to compete in the NCAA, I'm fine with having that convo. But I don't think it has anything to do with this specific situation, this specific deal. This specific deal had to do with the fact that the precedent was set that there was a deadline and a choice to give up your eligibility. Okay. And that is literally like the foundation of college basketball, and it's the foundation of the NBA draft, right? The NBA does not, like, the NBA is pretty happy that this happened, right? Because if you can now declare for the NBA draft, but then also be able to go back without signing a contract, or you can even sign a two-way contract, then the NBA draft kind of becomes similar to what? The MLB draft, where you can have a first round pick, and that first round pick can be like, nah, I'm good. Not going to sign. I'm going to go play college.
The Reds took me. I don't want to play for the Reds. No, thank you.
No. Oh, I don't want to play for Charlotte. No, I'll just go back. I'll just go back to college. Right? The NBA does not want that to happen. The NBA does not want that to occur. Okay. And like the ground, like, the roots of college sports are you have a certain amount of years, right? But once you go pro, you give up those years. Once you go pro, once you go, you're here, then you go, then you're done. European basketball is that whole conversation is, well, they already technically are pro, but it's a different type of pro because it's not the highest level and it's kind of how their system is made. And so Luka Doncic was playing pro ball when he was 16. Like, we don't have that here. Like, it's just a completely different system that we have to adjust the rules for from across the pond, right? Where this is concrete. This is concrete. The guy knew what the consequences were of going to the NBA draft. He still made that decision. It was done. So I'm all for having should European pro players be allowed to play college basketball? That's cool. That's dope. Conversation maybe we need to have, right? Because I'm all for. I think that a lot of the things that have happened in college basketball have taken away the opportunities from American high school basketball players, and I don't agree with that. And so if we need, we want to make some things good, give those players more opportunities, I'm all for it. But it's an ignorant comparison. They're different. They're different, and it's apples and oranges, and it's not pears compares. And that's just kind of how it is. And so I understand what Oates is trying to do. He needs Charles Bediako on his team if they're going to make a run this year. So, don't let that fool you, right? Yeah, yes, he definitely I think that his care for Charles is genuine, but there's also the ulterior motive of the front court is really banged up, and they need a 6'10" guy who can grab them 5 rebounds a game and score them 10 points. So there's a little bit of both there. John Texton.
Hi, John.
I hate basketball. All of it. But even I know Sam Hoiberg is a good player and critical to the team.
Okay, I was wondering where we were going.
Speaking about basketball, there was an announcement yesterday that the NBA is going to get 2 more teams in the league. How do you the two cities that will get these teams are going to be Vegas and Seattle. That's kind of set in stone. The NBA owes Seattle. They owe them.
Yep.
Their team got stolen. They were in our great basketball town. They've wanted the Supersonics back for forever. You already have the branding, right?
Yeah.
You already have the name. You just keep the Space Needle. Don't minimalize it, okay? Don't do minimalism.
Don't change the logo.
No, just keep the bones of it.
Green and yellow.
Yes, and dude, those jerseys and hats and hoodies and shirts will sell off the shelves, okay? Just, especially for the first year, kind of keep it the same. Then if you want to make it your own, eventually go ahead. Now, Vegas being the next one. I think it's obvious that the NBA needs to go to Vegas. Okay, Vegas is booming in popularity, especially with the ties and that they have with gambling and everything like that. And
maybe figure out your legal issues with the gambling
that's a good point. That's a good point. But Vegas is the hot spot for new teams to be planted there. You have a hockey team. You're going to have a baseball team. They're going to get a basketball team. Here's another interesting wrinkle. This is something that LeBron James has said publicly multiple times. He wants to retire and then become the owner of the Vegas team. I think that if you were to vote on this in the summer and say, hey, next season we're going to implement the Vegas team, Bron goes on his retirement tour, does his thing, last year in Cleveland, has
syncs up very well.
And then he retires, old man rocking chair, final game. Maybe they go on a little run, over, done with, and then they give him the franchise. Hey, here you go. You are the face. LeBron James is now the face of the new Vegas team. And that's how you legitimize it. That's how you say, okay, we're a serious franchise. We have one of, if not the greatest basketball player heading our team. Now, immediately.
City of Goats, Brady, LeBron James, Asia Wilson.
Yeah. Well, another thing, too, it's just like what also for me, it'll be great because there'll just be another really crappy basketball team in the league that we can pick up a win against because LeBron James is historically a terrible GM.
Okay, this is true.
LeBron's an awful GM.
Uh-huh.
He had Miami draft Shabazz Napier. He thought he was going to be the next great point guard. He had the LA Lakers trade for Russell Wilson. That was terrible. That was awful. That blew up any sort of dynasty potential they could have had there in LA, winning multiple titles. He couldn't figure it out with Kyrie, which, to be fair to Braun, right? To be fair to Braun, I don't know if that was ever going to happen. But then he just had the entire team blown up in 18 and made some questionable moves. That being of them getting to sign old man Dwayne Wade. So that was tough. I mean, he's Lay GM has not been the best in terms of evaluating talent, picking guys that he thinks are going to be great basketball players, and then also fits within his team. So that'll be a fun car crash to see happen, potentially.
I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, it seems
the
correct.
Seattle
Yeah,
team
sure.
though would immediately become wildly popular. Would an NBA team work here in Omaha? I'll say this. Here's my opinion, and you can speak on this. I think a pro team, in particularly of the four major male American sports, I think a pro team in any of those leagues would work here in Omaha. Like, I think it would work. I think people would be very happy. There's a professional team in the city, right? The mark of having a pro team in your city is a big deal, right? You know, and having the national eyeballs and you and whatnot. It's a nice thing to have. I grew up in them. They're fun, right? Like, I think that Omaha, if they got a pro team, would wrap their arms around them, become fans of that team, celebrate that team, go to the games. It'd be fun, okay? It would work way better with hockey. Like Omaha, dude, Omaha would be a hockey town. Omaha would, and by the way, players would love to play in Omaha. Coming from that culture, this city has what hockey players love. Okay, it has bars, it has good food, it has fun people, and it has casinos. Okay,
What more do you need?
It's got places you could party, it's got places you can eat, it's got people you want to hang out with, and it's got places you can gamble. All right, like there you go. Like, that's a good time. NHL hockey team would be great here.
Obligatory. Yes, Omaha was a part of the Kings franchise that now resides in Sacramento. Saved you an email, saved you a phone call. We know.
I'm talking about right now.
I understand.
I'm not talking about the past.
I'm helping the audience.
I know. I'm talking about right now.
I sort of feel the way Platcat does in the YouTube chat. 41 nights of home games would drag on for a large majority of the population interested in NBA or NHL games.
I don't think I don't like if an NBA team came here, it'd be tough.
Attendance would be based on the visiting team, not the home team.
Tough. It'd be tough.
No, I mean they support PBA, they support Creighton games, but that's because they have they're tied into the institution. Like, this is a new thing that some rich guy that you love this now. Love it.
So
love it.
So here's the thing. So if the NBA team came to Omaha, the NBA team would have to be good. Like, it would have to be good, and it would have to be appointment television.
We talk about this with baseball sometimes when the Rays were tinkering with coming on. Like, I still think the team has to be good, or Omaha won't come out.
Yeah, like you gotta, you would have to. The NBA would have to rig a lottery and put a superstar in Omaha, if it were to work. Okay, like you would have to. It would need to be must go to, must watch if it were to work. If the NBA were to work in Omaha, I don't think that's the case with hockey. I don't think it's as important. I think if they had a really good marketing campaign, really good PR campaign, really smart people at the front, they could make it. They could make it work here. And I think it would grow the popularity of the sport from a youth perspective, which I think would be great. But I don't think an NBA team. I think an NBA team would work for 1 year, and then you got to go to
is the team.
Then
good?
you got to go to work.
Yeah.
I think an NHL team, you would get a larger. This is just, opinions and speculation. I mean, this is all up to the people listening, right? If you disagree with us, be like, I want to go to hockey games, and then if we're wrong, we're wrong. I don't think NBA would work though.
I don't know if we're there yet.
I don't think
I'd like to think we are. I'd love to come on here and say, yeah, of course we would. We'll support anything.
Also, too,
we'd be honored.
I don't know.
I don't know that we would.
MLB team work? It'd be once again. It'd probably be you have to have good players here. I don't think it would. I think the NHL could. I think it could. I think Omaha's got the makings of being a fun hockey town. I really do.
The whole time in the back of my head, I'm just thinking, okay, whatever sport came to Omaha as a professional franchise, we'd have to be better than the Columbus Blue Jackets so Bill Simmons won't make fun of us.
Good point.
So it's not enough just to have one.
But here's the thing.
You got to have one that isn't the worst.
You can go, though, and you can be good right away in hockey. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights made it to the Stanley Cup in the first, and like they've never had a bad year.
Yeah. Entitled fan base.
Food for thought. Coming up next, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about Nebraska's big game tonight against Purdue, amongst other things. Here on Middays with Matt on 1620.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
I hate my Twitter.
You hate it.
I hate it.
What happened?
I made a big tweet. It didn't go viral. It was like 500 likes. A bunch of people like retweeted it. There are way too many notifications. Like my notifications and my likes and my mentions and everything. It's ridiculous. And now this guy with 60,000 followers has retweeted my Bill Moos tweet, because for those who are just joining us, Bill Moos tried to get Nebraska back into the Big 12. Like actively attempted to do that, which it was so dumb on so many different levels. Like the Big Ten is clearly the best or the strongest or second strongest conference in the country right now. From an academics perspective, it's way better for Nebraska to be in the Big Ten. From a financial perspective, I mean, the Big Ten just paid out millions and millions of dollars, way more than the Big 12 paid out to their teams. Like from a football level, like the Big Ten is way above the Big 12 in terms of competition and teams and all that stuff, right? I mean, the Big Ten is heads over heels above where the Big 12 is currently right now from a financial standpoint and competitive standpoint and just a stability standpoint. And yet Bill Moos thought in 2020 and around that time that it would be a good idea to move back to the Big 12 because he thought that the fan base didn't connect enough to the Big 10, which isn't true, or which is true, by the way. Like, I think the personality of the campus and the personality of, the fan base is probably more similar toward an SEC fan base, than a Big 10 fan base. But at the same time, you just stupid. So Bill Moos actively wanted to do that. And, I tweeted out the excerpts from his book, the best PR, by the way, that I've ever given anybody is tweeting out.
The only PR.
The only PR. Because nobody knew it was out. We were sitting here at the crossover and Josh goes, "Oh, I guess he released it on Kindle." We're like, "What? We get to read this thing?"
We can read it right now.
We read it right then. And we were posting out tweets and posting out excerpts, and people were going crazy on the scrolls. "Where is all this info coming from?" they asked. It was Matt McMaster and Josh Hodson, man. Along with Josh Peters.
Happy to help.
It's one of those things where it's just like reading that book is part fun because it reads like a soap opera and just the twists and turns it takes. It also is a little sad because you can actively tell that, Bill is still upset after what all happened and what all occurred. And he's trying to actively make it a point that he was good at his job before he went to Nebraska and that it wasn't his fault. We need Matt Damon. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Kind of it was his fault a little bit.
Some of it was.
Some of it was. That book did not convince me that Bill Moos was a good athletic director. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
All righty, coming up next, we close out the show with what to watch along with Dog of the Day and a quick little prediction for Nebraska taking on Purdue tonight at Pinnacle Bank Arena here on Middays with Matt on 1620 Zone.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
USA women's hockey up 2-0 right now. Throwing the puck aimlessly in front of the net is working. I guess I was wrong. I guess Canada's much worse than I thought.
Damn right. They don't have the best player.
Well, there's still a lot of game left to be played here, and they might score right here. This is a good possession by him. All righty, what are we watching tonight, Josh Hudson?
We're watching college basketball.
Yeah, we are.
Number 13, Purdue is in Lincoln to take on your 7th-ranked Huskers. 6 o'clock on FS1. 7 o'clock on Peacock tonight. More Big Ten hoops. Wisconsin at number 8, Illinois. Number 4, Duke at Pittsburgh, 8 o'clock on ESPN. And number 5, Iowa State at TCU, 8 o'clock on FS1. NBA doubleheader on NBA TV tonight. Clippers Rockets at 7, followed by Spurs Lakers at 9:30. Olympics, we just talked about it. Women's hockey going on right now. They are approaching the end of the first period. 2-0 good girls, I guess. I was about to say good guys. Prime time in Milan tonight. 7 o'clock on NBC. The women's team combined downhill and slalom.
What? Okay.
And then the men's short program for figure skating. And finally, tonight at 5 o'clock, spend 8 hours with the Corleone family as Paramount airs the first 2 chapters of the Godfather trilogy. Wow. 5 p.m. to 1:15 a.m.
Jeez. I might indulge.
Your whole night right there.
Alrighty. That's actually a pretty good slate. I thought it'd be a little bit, meh. But it's pretty good.
No, good slate tonight.
I might have the Godfather on while watching Wisconsin and at Illinois, or I might go to the Nebraska basketball game. I haven't decided yet.
In person.
Yes.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you gotta love dogs, right?
Hey, we won last night.
People forget.
They don't give us credit when our dogs hit.
That's right.
Our dogs were barking yesterday. Will they be barking again tonight? Give me TCU.
Whoa, hello.
Plus 4.5. So the line is 7.5. Let's lower it to 4.5. I think this is going to be a really close game. I think you get the version of TCU that played really well at the beginning of the year. Trap game for Iowa State. They're on the road at TCU. So give me the Horned Frogs, baby. What do we do? Ribbit?
Ribbit.
Frog of the day.
Then you got to do that knuckle horn
right here.
Thing.
Better to do the knuckle horn thing than to do the gig 'em, woo, pumping eggs.
Colt.
It is. I'm telling you, Texas A&M is the Jeep of college football.
Oh, that's right. You have
Jeep drivers and Texas A&M graduates are the same type of people. It's just very popular, but very weird. That's just how we see it. Do you know what's very popular and very weird? We're hoping this show
like conduct.
Yes, it is. Well, don't ask the scrolls.
Are they happy with USC right now?
I think Josh and I are on the good guy train because we posted all the Bill Moos stuff yesterday.
Okay.
So we had a big tick up. So
$13 well spent.
Hey, great show by you, Josh Hodson. Great show by us. Great show by Topics. Great show by the YouTube chat. That was killing it today. Thank you for all the calls. Thank you for all the email. Thank you all for all the texts today. Had some fun. We'll have some fun tomorrow on Wednesday, February 11th. USC and the crossovers coming up next.